Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to OPC Season 2. I'm, of course, your host, AVRL, joining with me tonight, Pixie, as well. It's about to head into match number 2 of the evening between Blank Esports and Mega Thunder from Thailand.
It's going to be, well, mostly from Thailand. They do, of course.
I actually found out that one extra member was from Thailand, and actually, Graceful from Sweden. He's actually ethnically Thai, and he speaks some Thai with the team, so there you go. There's a little bit more Thai
all right.
with the team.
Like, that's a really, Thai-Swede. That's a really interesting mix. It's like if you know the Hearthstone
African
player
Thai
life
mix.
coach, who is like
I like that
who's
one.
like Japanese-German.
Yeah, I like that one.
You just, man, that's
great. That's a good one.
That's a really, and he's like fluent in German and Japanese, and
and
of course speaks English as well. Like, wow. I mean, just what a life, you know? That's
Turn into a poker play / Hearthstone play.
Yeah.
But Mega Thunder, the Thai team, going up against the Australian team. So both of the, I guess the storyline for both the teams is, you got to look at it as two teams from last season with revamped rosters. Now Mega, obviously, far more revamped. They got much more new players coming in, with a little bit of a surprise in there as well. But again, wait for that one when we see the roster itself. So Mega Thunder not quite done with their roster just yet. And so Mega Thunder, I think, had an interesting start. They lost to Machi very early on. Blank kind of dodged that bullet. They did drop a map to Machi, but they overall won that series. Mega then came back quite strong and took a series very cleanly, 3-0 against Hong Kong Attitude. So, by the way, Hong Kong Attitude did beat Blank in the latter weeks of Season 1 last season. So you got to remember that as well. So, I mean, Hong Kong Attitude had nothing to scoff at.
Yeah. The unfortunate thing, like, sometimes you do have to take those kinds of results with a grain of salt because you can kind of run off the deep end with it, like, oh, Hong Kong Attitude beat Blank in the later weeks and Blank went on to be second place. Therefore, Hong Kong Attitude would have beaten Blank and they're the real winners. Like, like the logic starts to fall apart. But absolutely, there is like a kind of common thread that exists here. And there is some relevant data that can be pulled from all that. And I think you're completely right. If nothing else, it is completely fair to say that this match against Mega Thunder should prove to be more of a challenge than the one against Machi just beat. I say should because at the same time, Fireball in their previous incarnation did have much harder performances against Blank than Machi did, and like, that's something that does actually get taken into consideration here. There is still a lot of Fireball members on this team and a lot of the same experienced members of Blank who will know how to kind of counter out and pick apart those members. And I think crucially among that is actually Aputo, who is now joined by Moffat as his sort of co-DPS. The two are looking absolutely phenomenal. Will they measure up to Eat You Up and Huss, though? That's a really, really tough one to answer, and I'm not sure if they will.
It's interesting you bring up the fact that, you don't want to read too deeply into some of the results because you can't really put the strings together. This is not a crime scene wall where you start to put the newspaper clippings and all the red lines or red dots. And, Machi did beat Mega Thunder on day 1. Mega Thunder came back to beat Hong Kong Attitude on day 2. And so, Blank beat Machi. So you can't really be like, well, Machi beat Megas and then Blank just beat Machi.
Yeah,
so
like Machi and Hong Kong Attitude haven't played.
So that means Blank
are.
beats Mega. I don't think it kind of works like that because I think Mega definitely struggled on the first day, and I think Machi caught them off guard, similar to how Machi kind of caught Blank off guard in very specific moments in that series as well. In fact, caught him enough off guard to actually take a map win. And crucially, it wasn't just on the assault; it was actually on the tiebreaker, on the control, and that actually sends a really strong message. Like I said previously, it does mean Blank can lose a control, and that's something significant that Blank got to take in with them. And actually something significant that if you're on the Mega Thunder side, you can actually, as someone that has been on the sidelines now, who, by the way, is going to be starting as home team, you also come in with that home team advantage. You just saw the way Blank played. You may have now seen some of the weaknesses and some of the strengths that Blank had. Surely you do come in with the ability to kind of read into that and find out what you can do against this Blank side.
Yeah, just by the way, we are still just waiting on players to enter the Blizzard Esports Stadium in Taipei. And they are going to be taking that stage very, very soon. There's something else I think is fair to say here, though. As much as Mega did just get to see Blank play, and they are going to get themselves that home side advantage with that first and third map pick, at the same time, because Blank have already played and they did get that win, they kind of get to come in this hot, right? Any things that were maybe a little bit all tired, I doubt it's tired though. If there were any bits of rust they had to shake off and sort of final bits of gelling they had to do with the new members, they've had a bit of time now to do that. And I absolutely expect them to just look that little bit cleaner now coming up against Mega Thunder. Whether it is going to be a significant amount is a completely different question, and we still have no idea exactly how good or indeed bad Mega Thunder are going to look against Blank.
And once again, this is kind of a dangerous week for Blank because you can't really afford to make too many mistakes. Again, 2 round robins over 6 weeks, 3 weeks for each round robin. Both teams, or rather every single team, has the ability to be home and away. Now let's take a look at the first team. It will be Mega Thunder, about to take a stage. You are seeing some of the new members on here, as well as some of the subs, NZNR and Rocket, yet to play a game. Kurlos has most recently, if you've been really catching up on some of the news with the roster changes, Kurlos has now moved off the active roster, so we will possibly be seeing someone else take his place now. But you know, yeah, Mega Thunder definitely, I think, a very threatening team, especially when you look at the likes of, like you've already mentioned, Apudo and Moffat. Those guys are a seriously threat.
And of course, their other option is to run Apudo and NZNR, or potentially even Moffat and NZNR, all great DPSs in their own right, but here their opponents, you've just seen them, but let's refresh yourselves. It is Blank Esports with their 2 new players, Huwu and Huss, who have replaced Kiki and Atar respectively from Season 1. And we already said it, out the gate, both are looking absolutely phenomenal.
Let's get a couple of words now from both sides. We're Graceful on the left, Serenity and Doctor on the right.
看 Blank 的比赛，那对于他们加入新成员，他们刚刚的表现，你们等下比赛有没有什么样的就是对策，想说要怎么样去攻他们或怎么样
Okay, did you see how Blank performed last game, and do you have any strategies for this game?
It's really interesting watching Blank operate the roster, but we're still very confident in our skills.
我们很高兴能看到 Blank 有加入新的火力，但是我们也非常的有信心。
好，我想问一下 Blank 就是因为他们上一次有新成员加入，但他们这一次又多加入了一位韩国的新成员，有没有觉得很害怕？因为我们现在目前不知道他的底细是什么。
Since both of our teams have a lot of fresh blood in our team, especially Mega Thunder, they actually have a new player today as well. Is there anything, like, do you feel like it's like an unknown factor for the team?
I think just for us, we've got our own new players coming in. We're sort of the unknown as well. Going against Mega Thunder now, they've got a new player coming in. You know, we've come off a win. We've already seen a lot of things. We need to adapt in our own playstyle after that draw on Temple and Anubis against Marchi. So, you know, we're a bit of unknowns going into each other here. So that'll be an interesting matchup.
因为我们多了两位选手，所以我们也增加了很多未知数，所以对方应该也是对我们也应该也会提心吊胆啊。
好，很好，那我们双方先握手一下。好，这边谢谢。好，比赛呢马上就要开始了，我们把画面交给主播台。
Words from both sides as they prepare to get into their match. Just a reminder, Mega do start as the home side, Blank do start as the away side. And Blank in a back-to-back, if you didn't quite catch week 1, Blank didn't play any single matches in week 1, so they're playing definitely a lot of catch-ups now. So we're going to see a lot of them this week and going to see a lot of them next week. But back to a previous point that I was talking about, which is Blank now coming in with a shorter season than everyone else. They lose a week compared to everyone else's. Actually,
Yeah, they have a 5-week season.
They have a 5-week regular season and 3-week playoffs should they get there. And for Blank, they have less room to make as an error. We kind of mentioned previously in the match against Marchi is you cannot have any room for excuses next week, because next week you go up against Ardian, next week you go up against Flash Wolves and Blank. Certainly you don't want to be dropping maps or dropping matches this week either, because with only 5 weeks of gameplay, I don't think there's any space for error to really start losing matches.
Yeah, there's really not, and that's the thing we were talking about with the pressure on Blank for today is because they have to play 2 matches in a row today, straight out the gate, with their new lineup as well, which they haven't had a heap of time to practice and scrim with compared to some of these other teams fielding new rosters. It would have been pretty rough to, you know, start this off with a pair of losses. A little bit of that pressure is now alleviated with the win against Marchi. There are things to fix up, but they've at least got that point on the board. They aren't going to be playing catch up in terms of score. The worst possible result today would be 1-1, which honestly isn't the end of the world. You still very much want to come out of this though with 2 wins for exactly the reasons you just stated. The teams you're coming up against next week. Look, these teams are all looking really good this season, but we still have to be honest in saying teams like Flash Wolves and Ardian are probably still going to pose some of the greatest challenges to these teams.
All right, let's now get into a little bit of deeper conversation about some of these rosters. Going to start things off with Elk. Now, he's one of the American players coming onto this team, as also the Americans coming in from the Contenders. In fact, Graceful as well coming in from Contenders. That's the man I'm talking about. And Graceful today will be stepping into Kurlos' shoes. He will now be playing the flex support as Kurlos has moved into a scouting kind of position. He's going to be looking after the Thai scene, really looking forward to seeing who are the new Thai members coming up that, you know, Mega can really look at supporting to bring into this team as well. Moffat, the big DPS player that has been Apudo's buddy. This has been the man right next to him. He's played mostly the Tracer here, and he has been one of the most, I guess, more dominant Tracers that we've seen so far.
Yeah, and it's interesting that they are going to be fielding Moffat alongside Apudo today. So unless they're running NZNR and they're willing to have 3 DPSs, or indeed perhaps either Moffat or NZNR will play a kind of flex role, they are fielding this Moffat-Apudo DPS duo, and here is the man himself and what they have cooked up for us today. This is Apudo.
Say your vowels.
Apudo and T2 both. You see the title card for Apudo there. This is... He's almost like famous in his own right, this guy. One of the biggest personalities to come out of Season 1, and with the skill to back it up.
I think that's really important as well. And for a team like Mega Thunder, they're no strangers to lineup changes mid-season. We're not even mid-season just yet. T2 is the guy that came in for Fireball late last season.
Very late
actually
addition.
Really improved that roster, really shaped up a lot of the issues. Now, this is the man I want to talk about. If you don't know him, his name is White. He's from Detonator Korea. That's correct. The same Detonator Korea that failed to qualify into OPC Season 2. You knew him back then as Trona from Detonator Korea. Also, the Detonator Korea that has just recently gone and qualified into Apex Challenges for Season 5. So that is a new flex tank player on the Mega Thunder lineup, and I'm excited to see how he goes.
Very interesting pickup indeed. And just to recap you on Blank, for those of you just tuning in now, of course, you already saw Huss there, one of their new players filling ATAR's boots, and indeed filling them well. RQT, team captain and support player, and just next to him will be the team's other support, and between the two, providing the analyst roles, is Gunba, excuse me, and
no gun beard.
Yeah, no gun beard.
Wait till the end of the season.
Yeah,
Wait
that's
till
what I was
week
going to
9.
say. I hope he's doing it again. Over Season 1, he grew out a beard and then like shaved it off at the end. And honestly, the longer the gun beard got, the better they played.
He should have kept it going then. They would be
By
killing
now,
it right
he'd
now.
have like this absolute like beast of a beard.
They'd
and
be
they would-
starting in the finals. They wouldn't have to play the regular season.
Yeah.
They'd already be waiting in the finals.
So, of course, Huwu just there was their other new player, and a very, very young player in his own right, 17, and only just that. Next to him, one of their longtime players, Trill, and last but not least, man of the hour and man of the match for last match, I Eat You Up.
What a performance he had. Him and Huss, that combo has been deadly. Moffat and Apudo, that combo is also deadly. Now, something you mentioned in that last match was, you know, we talked a little bit about the Doomfist. You know, players and teams rather that have this really good Doomfist play definitely bring him out. Kind of had to question Marchie a little bit there because Nuns is to me one of the better Doomfists of the tournament so far, and it's a bit of a surprise to sort of put that back on the shelf for Marchie, but that's another story for another match. Coming into this one though, Mega Thunder, they're not afraid to put Apudo on that same Doomfist.
They're really not. The only thing though is we haven't seen him have these same kind of performances as what we've seen so far out of Huss and Nuns, and also it's always worth mentioning out of players like Ursula on Ardiant, who has been their resident Doomfist. So we do still need to see Apudo step up his Doomfist play, as much as he is an extremely solid DPS player. And I do expect that he has the capacity to step it up. Indeed, after last week, they probably will have looked at what was happening there and just kind of figured it out, because it's also the first these teams have really come head to head against each other, pulling out these Doomfists, etc., etc. And I expect to see just a stronger performance across the board from Apudo, even if it's not on Doomfist at all, by the way.
And that's the thing about Apudo, he actually has a lot of picks that he can go into. I know House has some as well, but right now he has been hedged into a Doomfist position. Matt pick did come out, it was a little bit sneaky. It is going to be Lijiang Tower from the Mega Thunder side. Should be coming up on your screens at any moment there. But yeah, Huss has been another one of those players that actually has a decent number of picks. Like we kind of mentioned, back in Australia, he was a main Tracer player. Before that, you know, he played the Flex Tank as well. He's got a Hog that I know about. Unlikely to see that now, but we have already seen a Soldier from him that was quite comparable. We have now also seen a Genji briefly from him, but Doomfist is where he shines. Now, Apudo, Genji was probably his main pick from last season, and in fact, one of the better Genjis of last season. as well as Soldier. We only saw realistically those two. Sombra started coming up for Apudo around the time of the World Cup. He actually said that for the World Cup was when he started practicing Sombra, and he had one of the better Sombras of the Shanghai leg of the World Cup. Now he's playing a bit more Sombra now in the OPC as well as at Doomfist. So definitely he's getting into that variety and that adaptability.
Yeah, and he's always been a solid player. The interesting progression for Fireball across Season 1 certainly seemed to be the shift from it being the Aputo show to being an all-star cast. And that was without any lineup changes until right at the end, actually, when they finally brought in Tidawat, that just sort of pushed it over the edge to being, you know, a full-on ensemble in force. But a lot of what happened there was actually the other DPS player, NZNR, really stepped up to the plate. Overall, their consistency improved, and the whole team has really started to shine. Now that they've added in these new pickups, they're just looking even better, and we've already kind of talked about how Apudo and Moffat both seem to be really comfortable as the team's two DPSs and have a ton of flexibility between them. They don't need to have one or the other on the Tracer or not, but so far it has tended to be Moffat as their Tracer player, and he has started to tentatively go toe-to-toe with some of the better Tracers in this tournament.
And specifically, that opening match, despite Mega losing, I'm talking about against Machi, he was going very much toe-to-toe. In fact, even beating out Kant on multiple occasions. I know Eat and Kant have been going quite close in the series that we just watched between Machi and Blank, of course. So, I mean, that really says a lot because Kant's one of those up-and-coming Tracers. Shailin's right at the top for me right now from Hong Kong Attitude. And now Moffat versus Eat This is going to be a good duel.
Absolutely is. And as I was saying that about Moffat, Kant was indeed the Tracer I had in mind. So yes, let's see how he goes against EU Up, but he may not get that chance just yet. As Blank are going to go back to this one. They did try it last time against Machi. It's going to be McCree and Doomfist, and I'm not going to use your name for it.
All right, well, you can
Doom
also
Cree.
use Doomcree. McDoom? I don't know.
McDoomfist sounds like an actual Scottish name. That's the thing. But in any case, Moffat draws first blood on Huss as they do trade back onto Tidawat, but they need to pick off those DPS members. Otherwise, Mega Thunder are just going to be able to keep going on the aggressive here, with White kind of acting as frontline instead. They are set up on the point as well, so it's on Blank to go on the aggressive, and as they do so, they lose Trill. Yeah, good pick onto Graceful, and actually, Mega just kind of abandoned the point here, ceded over to Blank. I feel like that was maybe a bit too much respect given. They were actually very much ahead. And
that's the kind of thing that we do talk about Mega Thunder. We watched their game against Ardian, and they gave a lot of respect to that other team. Now, Blank Esports are taking advantage of the room that they get given from Mega, and certainly converting out the kills. They got an early cap. When you really look at how they played against Machi, Machi had a far more dominant opening. Blank were unable to find any space. Against Mega, different story.
I feel like Mega Thunder won that fight and then left the point open. That was really unfortunate for them. But given that they were able to do that, I do expect to continue to see strong showings out of them in these future fights, but not with losing Elk out the gate. That is not what they really want.
And our ultimate starts to come online for Blank as well. So, you know, Blank, especially in the early stages of Season 1, were definitely known as a team to spawn camp you on Control Center on Lijiang Tower. They're certainly doing a bit of that now, maybe easing up a little bit of pressure, allowing Mega Thunder to get out the doors. I don't know about that, but we'll have to see.
Oh, Apudo, along with White, is able to find his counterpart in Huss. Moffat does get low, but he is alive, crucially. That means they keep the fight going as the Transcendence is forced out of Gunva. A lot of ultimates available for Blank, but picking EU up rather, is what Apudo wants as he finds Gunva too. Now their own Transcendence, keeping them safe through the self-destruct from Huwu. Blank are very much on the back foot. They really need to leverage Trill and Huss, but we know that they are willing to fight to the last. Let's see if they make it pay off as Huss indeed comes back and smacks one back to Apudo. Huwu saves his life for a moment, but does go down. They're trading blow for blow here, but Mega Thunder need to start closing out this fight because Blank are still in it, and they're still getting these reinforcements now as Eat You Up is looking to get just these last few picks. Here we go. Primal Rage from Tidawat to try and close it out. Blank look like they may just have to retreat.
But Blank is still getting progress here, so for Mega, they might be getting kills. Blank are actually still trading kills, so that's not very good for Mega at all because
they're not done either.
Absolutely not done, and Blank are about to hit 99%. I don't think they're going to give it up until they get to 99%.
Yeah.
And actually, Blank might be able to keep this going. They might actually just win it if they stay.
They may just because they were able to pick Tidawat there. They did lose RQT in the self-destruct, but there we go. Apudo closing out on Huss, and now Trill as well. Should just secure it for them and close it out on Huwu for the last. Why not? That was what they finally needed. They did get over the line. Blank are not going to get the full cap just yet, but all the way up to 99.
And these Doomfist duels have been really interesting as well, because if one of them kills the other one, in that case it was Apudo killing Hus, suddenly Apudo converts onto 2, 3, perhaps even 4 other kills on top. So for Mega Thunder, they spent a long time catching up. There was a very long protracted fight. Blank Esports really bled Mega out for all that they had, but Mega finally get it done. Unfortunately, so far behind in progress.
Apudo again goes deep and it pays off as he finds RQT, and wow, that's the full round indeed. Blank even had a good number of resources coming into it. They just weren't quite able to get anything out of it. And out getting Huwu with the boot, Trill has to take a dive, and Mega able to very much stabilize on this defense.
The sound of that gong, the horns coming up as well, is exactly the sound that Mega Thunder wanted to hear. Apudo now sitting on ultimates. Everybody else kind of lean, because like Blank Esports, they are saving it. That's going to be a nice pickup from you up as well. They have the ultimates to go in. They have the player advantage. This is Blank's moment.
Oh, that was a spicy collision between Hus and Apudo. Apudo meteor strikes his way out of there to safety, so that he can just go ahead and reaggress when the time is right. But it is high noon. Oh dear. The Deadeye catches too. And Blank got the regrab in that as well. No one from Mega Thunder's on the point there, and Blank, just because they had pushed it all the way up to 99, are able to push it over the line. That was really interesting though, because actually Mega Thunder were really taking it to Blank. They were just giving them too much respect.
I think the early stages were very evident of that. I think afterwards, in the middle stages of that map, that's when Mega Thunder started to turn on that aggression a little bit more, a little bit less respect, and a little bit more, I would say, confidence going, and especially Apudo. He was able to kill Hus. He was able to get the kills on everybody else as well. He was one really leading the charge for Mega Thunder. You didn't see too much of Moffat. You didn't see too much of very much anybody else. Apudo definitely dominated that kill feed, actually for the first time. It wasn't Hus as the Doomfist that was dominating on the other side. I think at the end there, one of the big ways that Blank turned around, flashbang headshot onto Moffat, then the kills came on through for Blank as well. Double kill from the Deadeye on Eat You Up. That was the play that ended it.
It was kind of an opposite to what we saw to Machi, actually. Mega Thunder were really able to take it to Blank in the middle stages of that control tower. So let's see now how they can pull it off on Gardens, and already picking Hus. That is a great start for them, it indeed does. And he's going to make use of that along with T2. They just back off for a moment so they can re-aggress, but they're looking to isolate Trill and close him down. Moffat really keeping the pressure on as they take him out. They do get the trade onto Apudo, but it does not look like it'll be enough. Actually, wow, T2 gets boobs, and they did pick Moffat in among the chaos as well. So actually, Blank will be able to get precedence on the point. That was very nicely held onto by them, because actually Mega Thunder were very much dictating the pace of that fight.
I think Mega Thunder had a great start, and this is now kind of similar to what we saw into Control Center, which is they have the early lead, they maybe get the first pick, they get the area control, which is actually a little bit more important to me even than the first pick, but Blank still managed to turn around. Mega Thunder they're not able to convert that into any further kills or into any further progress, and Blank get the first cap again.
I think the difference is last time, you know what, let's talk about that difference another time, because they're just going right for it with the Transcendence out. They did actually manage to save their Diva there as White sort of boosted back towards solid ground, but Moffat getting picked and Apudo very low. Meteor strike for safety reasons, but they lose T2 in that as well, and White has to take a dive. Very unfortunate for themselves there as Blank just kind of beats them back.
And Mega need another opportunity here. Blank is just able to find these fights over and over again. We saw them against Machi. We're seeing them now against Mega Thunder. Ultimates online for Blank. Mega Thunder seriously behind in very many ways, and it's going to be a very difficult fight if Blank gets to 99 again.
Very fast open out with the sound barrier though as Apudo picks RQT. They're looking to get more, but Hus looking to go deep on it, doesn't find much as Moffat continues opening up this backline of healers, and Eat You Up is in trouble around the side. This is the fight Mega Thunder have been needing, but they do need to convert these last few kills over. We do know, once again, Blank will fight to the last. That last may just be Huwu as he goes down on the point. Trill wants more, and he doesn't have a primal rage to last it out. He's actually just doing that to buy percentage, and he does just end up giving over ultimate charge as does RQT. They're still dragging it out to push it over past the 80%, but they are only just going to reach 80% as Mega Thunder finally get a cap.
Certainly don't drag it out as much as they did onto Control Center. 80% is a lot more manageable than 99%. In fact, Blank don't just get it automatically win. In fact, Blank don't get into a position where they can just get that win. 80% means that Mega Thunder at least get that other fight, even if Blank cap it over again. But for Mega, you need to extend this into your own 99%. If this goes over very quickly without getting good progress, I think Blank can still just take it.
Big aggression from Trill and graceful quick on the Transcendence so that they don't have to worry too much about it as Moffat does the groundwork. That's 3 in the kill feed as Apudo closes out on Huwu, and with those ultimates committed, Mega will hold. They did actually commit quite a few for it in the end, but all's well that ends well.
And this is the stage for Blank where they hold ultimates. We've seen this from Blank before. Wait till they get about 5 ultimates, get to maybe about 6 ultimates, 80%. Maybe then they use 5. Maybe perhaps they even overspend and I guess, commit to these ultimate plays. But Blank, they end up winning off those plays, so why not? And they are in the position where perhaps they can win off 80%.
That's the Transcendence there out of Gunba, the one he did not use in the last fight as Huss opens it up with first blood on this one. Naputo needs to get some work done quick smart here. They want to drag this one out, and indeed he fails to do so, going down to Gunba as Huss gets aggressive himself. They do get that extra fight that you were talking about, but this one has been a quick win for Blank.
Yep, 66%, not quite enough for Mega Thunder. Motherfucker with the late reset as well. You can't wait too long for that one. We're going to head into at least the overtime here before anyone in Mega Thunder really makes their play forward. In fact, for Blank, they can afford to play this quite aggressively now. It just really forced Mega out of position. And Mega don't have the ults to come in either, which is a problem.
And that's exactly what Blank want. They like playing aggressive in these situations. Already picking up Tito up with the uppercut there. Aputo going deep though to trade one back. Loses his life for it. But they trade off with Huss. And Mega Thunder are in a decent position here. Oh, but Gunba catching White out of the mech is big, even as they lose RQT. And now Blank, they can actually commit these last 3 ultimates to try and close it out here and now if they like. That's a great bump onto Graceful, who had the Transcendence running, and who will be able to just barely get back into the mech as well. They stall for time very, very well. And now Mega Thunder are booking it to the point and trickling in. Blank will be able to reinforce as EU up barely takes out his counterpart. Huss securing one on T2 2. They're looking to just close it out here, and now Graceful even going onto the Genji as a last ditch as White gets picked. That's the overtime done, and Blank picking up Lijiang Tower once again.
That actually looked more comfortable than their Lijiang Tower series against Machi, specifically if you include the golden point within the Lijiang. That's kind of like the third stage Lijiang that we never got to see, the one that Machi actually won there. The interesting thing to note here from Mega Thunder in terms of pacing of the game, in terms of the tempo and the storyline of the entire Lijiang series is kind of a good opening for Mega Thunder. Not good in the way of Machi just completely wiping the floor with Blank and just getting the cap. Good in the sense they have a decent lead, maybe get a kill, maybe get some good positioning, but they don't turn that into an objective win. They don't get the cap. Blank get the cap every single time. Blank managed to extend it really far, 99% on control center, 80% onto gardens, and then Mega come in into the middle and they do something with that. In the middle stage of the game, that's when Mega starts to really shine. But Blank always come in at the end, they always clean up and they always get the win.
And have always set themselves up to do so. Like you said, you know, they kind of push out the advantage as much as possible, really push out the clock. And I did actually mention this off the back of the Machi series, but the other team I feel that traditionally does that a lot, and in Season 1 were the only team doing that, were Flash Wolves. And in Season 1, they were the team that won. So Blank have clearly kind of learned that from their adversary, depending on how you say it. I got caught between the two pronunciations, but they've clearly learned that from Flash Wolves, who were the victors from Season 1. I did also say I feel like they're not always executing it as well as Flash Wolves do. Instead of 95% of the time compared to Flash Wolves is 99% of the time, but that's a slim difference. And they're looking comfortable doing it. They don't have to learn it anymore. They have learned it. From here on, it's just polish, and they do still have 5 weeks to polish.
Yeah, Mega Thunder, though, unfortunately, we have to start thinking about this, and they do look like they're running out a bit of time because they've already dropped 2 matches. They lost to Machi on day 1. They lost to Ari on I believe, day 3. So they picked up Hong Kong Attitude in the middle there. So they're 1 for 2 right now. Blank already picking up map number 1. Definitely not going to call it too early because, hey, Assault's still in the pool, so Blank got to take a loss somewhere, right? So for Blank, you know, potentially, we said, is this going to be a 1-1 day? Is this going to be a 2-0 day? Certainly, we didn't think it was going to be an 0-2 day for Blank. Blank were going to pick up a win somewhere. They got that against Machi. Are they going to get that against Mega Thunder? The good news for Blank is 2-0 is a great start. The bad news is Mega Thunder, 1-3.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's right.
That is really going to cost them potentially a playoff spot.
Yeah, it really, really, really is. Because of how short this tournament is, you don't have that same recovery time. And as much as all of these teams are very close together in terms of skill, at the end of it, 2 of them are going to be those bottom 2 teams. So far, Liberland has looked a little bit rough, but honestly, Mega Thunder, having only just scraped free of that in Season 1, really don't want to find themselves there in Season 2.
Let's take a look at this replay now. This is going to be the winning moment for Blank. Expect that Deadeye double kill coming out from Eat You Up at any moment. Transcendence from Gumba, keeping the front line alive. Aputo had to back off with his Meteor Strike as well. Now that's a double kill. Aputo caught in the middle of that. White after demeching as well. Got caught in the middle of that. And it's a finish, nice and clean finish. No protracted long fight there, or protracted long defense from Mega Thunder. It was just all blank finishing up.
And the thing I have to compliment, I think, the most there is EOP's positioning with the Deadeye. I mean, you saw it there as well during the game, because we saw it from a Puto's perspective. EOP was kind of looking down the side, had a great angle on the retreat path, and they had to go, okay, either we stay close to the point and risk going down to the pressure, or we back right off and give up the point anyway, or we sit in the middle and die to Deadeye. Guess which one happened?
Let's go to the next replay now. This is going to be into the Gardens map right off the top. So T1 gets the early kill onto Husk. This is kind of what I'm talking about here. So Mega Thunder able to get an early lead. Positionally, maybe not as good here, but they do back themselves up a little, even get the second kill. But this is, you know, they're just unable to really clean things up because the trades start coming back the other way around. And usually a team that's so far behind, you're already 2 members down. Technically, that's a 6 versus 4. You're on the 4 side. You're not expected to get the return trades the way Blank are getting.
And the thing that seems to happen as well is it's actually exactly when Mega Thunder have that little bit of an advantage and go in for the kill that suddenly it just seems Blank turn it back around. And it's not actually the sudden thing. Blank are set up for it because they also see which way the fight's going and they go, okay, we're losing members, this is their time to press the advantage, let's pull back, let's be ready for it, you know? You try and go in for the kill, turns out it's got claws.
A kill that's got claws. Is that like if you're a hunter?
That's a saying.
Is that, I guess so, but is that like if you're a hunter and then like you catch a bit of prey, but it's actually got some pretty sharp claws? I don't know.
No, that's exactly what it is. You think it's down, turns out it's, you know, it's still
Mega
got some
Thunder,
fight.
they need claws, teeth, a thick fur hide, and whatever else they can get right now because it does look like Blank are the hunters, and it does so far look like Mega the prey. You do not want to be in the prey position right now. You want to be able to outsmart Blank. You want to be able to outplay Blank, and certainly I think Mega Thunder have the opportunity and the possibility of outplaying Blank. We've already seen moments of that. The middle game has been where Mega have been really strong. Let's take a look at the next replay now.
I kind of want to do this like Sir David Attenborough, but in any case, this is where Blank
Feel free
closes
to.
it
I won't
out.
stop you.
I can't. My impression's not good enough, but this is Blank starting to close it out here, and a lot of it is just Husk getting the catch on White, who was out of the mech thanks to Huwu. And you can't really control the positioning of that pilot form Diva, so that was actually kind of a good, you know, alley-oop setup between the two of them almost, and that just swung the tide right there and then. And from there on, Blank actually just had the positioning naturally because of how they'd already set up. All they needed was a kill to tip the balance. And when we say they're winning a lot of fights where it seems really even, or they seem like sometimes they're even behind and they just magically get a pick and then it kind of all goes from there, it's not quite like that. What's actually happening is they're setting themselves up positionally such that if they do get that one pick, which they feel confident they can do, then they can leverage it into a very dominating fight win, and they are very consistent at doing that right now.
I want to make a bit of a gameplay comparison now because something we noticed between Mega Thunder and Ardiant was that Ardiant have that kind of play style as well where they're not willing to give up fights very easy. They're definitely committing quite hard to fight. Sometimes, you know, so far they haven't been punished for that, and I'd like to see if Flash Wolves and Blank can maybe punish them, but Ardiant have been that team that are definitely not willing to give up the fights. And also, on the flip side, Mega Thunder, in that particular series, were very much willing to give up some of those fights, giving maybe too much respect to Ardian. So coming up against a team like Blank that, to me, have so far shown a similar playstyle, where Blank, like you've already mentioned, do not give up quite easily. They definitely keep themselves in fights for as long as they can, and it does seem very similar to the way Ardiant play. Are we starting to see the same mistakes that Mega made against Ardiant being displayed against Blank as well, and this may be hurting them against Blank?
I feel like one of the big differences right now, just in terms of feeling for me personally, between Ardiant and Blank, and arguably as well Flash Wolves, because I have felt that they do a similar thing in terms of drawing out the advantage as long as possible. I do feel like Ardiant are sometimes doing it and then losing because they actually are kind of overextending. Like, they're not doing it safely. They're just kind of doing it to do it, feeling that, hey, there's only 3 of us, but maybe one of us just outskills enough that we'll get a crazy play anyway. Look, it's fair enough. But I actually do want to answer your question that you posed there. I really do think, based conjecturally off what we've seen, that Blank and Flash Wolves, and potentially AHQ as well, absolutely will be able to punish Ardiant for that gameplay.
And that says a lot about Blank as well, because if Blank are playing like that, they're going to get punished much the same. And actually, interestingly enough, Ardiant versus Blank, I mean, it could really go either way there, because both teams, it actually sounds like that's going to be a slugfest. Both teams are just really going to go for gold on that one, really just try and outdo each other.
Expecting good things.
But before we even get there, that's going to happen in week 3. We're still into week 2, and map pick number 2 is coming out. This one's coming from Blank. It's going to be Kings Row.
It's just two Torbjorns just duking it out.
Yeah,
in
but
the
only
streets.
one of them had the molten core, and the other one not.
No, they were both running it. It's just the other one like just ran out right then. But no one died, so it doesn't really matter. I've actually been to London. That's exactly what it's like.
What, two dwarves with hammers?
It's just a lot of Swedes with dwarfism fighting.
Swedes with dwarfism fighting.
It's London to a T.
Oh, I've never been, so I'll take your word for it.
I haven't. I know. I've been to London plenty, and it's actually nothing like that. There's a lot more. There's a lot more than just Swedes. There's too many people actually. Just way too many people. Like frankly, I'm sick of it. I tried.
That's why you're in New Zealand.
I remember we tried walking to Hamley's toy store on Christmas Eve. That was a big mistake. I nearly died that night. Like I was only like 11 or something, and we made it.
You would have remained 11 forever.
We made it to Hamley, exactly. We made it to Hamley's toy store in the end. I couldn't buy anything. There were just too many people there. We barely got in, and like I nearly suffocated on the way. Like there's just too many people on that one road, and they all just need to go home and chill out. It is Christmas Eve, for goodness sake. London's scary, man. Yeah, but I do love it. It's so nice.
Also, they hate Omnic, so there's that.
Yeah.
What's up with that? What's up with that, London? Why you gotta hate Omnic?
Jeez, London. Well, some of them do, some of them don't. I mean, I guess some people do. Like, they've got their little, like, Omnic area for all the Omnics in London. So, like, they were like, you know what? It's too crowded with all these Omnics here. Let's give them their own part of the city, make it a bit less crowded. Everyone's happier.
Let's talk about, there's actually, you know, looking at Mega Thunder again, there's one thing that I guess we haven't really addressed yet, which is the new member of the team. Well, first of all, actually, Graceful's moved to the Kurlos' spot. So I don't know if I can draw any conclusions on that move just yet.
Jury's out.
Graceful's graceful. That's fine. But actually looking at the other member that's new to the roster, which is White, and something I want to mention about this that I'm not going to get another chance to mention is Detonator Korea, it used to be Trona and Bixel, who then renamed to Snow and White on the Detonator Korea team.
So now it's just Snow. That's just super awkward.
So now there's just Snow on the team.
So and did they then have like a really big roster with like all these subs that's like happy, grumpy, sleepy, dozy, like. And by the way, Doc the dwarf freaks me out in Snow White, right? Dude's got a PhD. What's he doing hanging out with a bunch of minors?
Maybe all of them will be fighting in London as well.
And they need a doctor. You've figured it out. You've solved the mystery. Out the gate, though, is going to be that man White on the side of Mega Thunder, and it is going to be Blank with their map pick defending first.
Huss is going to be back onto the Soldier as well. So that's kind of what we started on. And I like to see Huss stand up a little bit more because this initial defense was a little bit weak for Blank. Machi probably a little bit more aggressive as a team. And I don't know, maybe it starts to show here because RQT gets the opening kill.
Yeah, RQT solid fratricide there, but they lose both their DPS. They do get a couple of good picks in response, but Apudo and Moffat can keep pressure on as much as they like. It's all really on Trill to try and keep this one going, and now with those healers dead, he's probably not long for this world either. Mega Thunder, they can reinforce nice and quickly thanks to the respawn proximity. Moffat does get picked. They're really drawing this out as much as they can, Blanket, and actually Mega Thunder have maybe again given them too much respect instead of keeping on the pressure and knowing the reinforcements would come. They've actually given Blank the opportunity to regroup.
Well, I actually think they put on a decent amount of pressure there. You see Moffat didn't back off too early. Moffat really wanted to pick up a second kill there. Getting the 2 kills and support's really important, but losing Moffat means Mega Thunder had to reset themselves, and they're not going to get the advantage or the opportunity to take advantage of the double kill that they got earlier on. RQT and Gumba both now back in the fight.
And that is so crucial for them. They do not lose any ult charge from having to swap, and they are very soon up on those ultimates. So now Mega Thunder are going to have to find that angle in. Oh, graceful. Good sleep by Gunba, and he's able to sort of wheel around and reposition as the aggression comes through from Mega Thunder through the bottom of the hotel. They're trying to find their angle, and they're having a hard time of it. Pick on Gunba helps, but Apudo goes down in the trade there, and now Moffat has to pull a ton of weight. He's getting very hard pressured, and they are going to catch a third out of this potentially, but Hustle going to close it out already. Actually, a 2-woo. Why? Of course it's 2-woo. Why wouldn't it be Hoo-woo?
Because it might have been Huss, but Huss was actually killing the mech here, and so the Huss-Hoo-woo combo so far, that's definitely, I like to call the Huss-Woo combo, has definitely been working out for Blank so far as well. So for Mega Thunder, this is a big far cry from what we saw in the Machi versus Blank series. Already Machi looks stronger on Lijiang Tower, and already Machi also looks stronger on Kings Row, at least against Blank, because Blank so far, at least in that series, Blank already lost, Blank are already way backed up. And so far for Mega Thunder, not the case. At least they saved up ultimates. You're in the 5 ultimate position. Now's the part where where you can't afford to lose.
And that was a nice stick as well, plus the catch on Huss as Gunbit goes down. This is what they were looking for, and now Pudo just going to push Huwu way away from his team. Not quite able to close out on the mech because he does have to regroup, but they are in good shape. And suddenly, as I say that, Blank push on the pressure. Having lost one of their DPSs and the healer, just kind of pull kills out of thin air, and Mega Thunder again have to take a retreat, and they're really struggling to close out on Blank.
And actually, and closeout's correct. That's very accurate for how it feels for Mega Thunder because they actually can get kills, but the problem is they get traded. Blank get the counter picks, and Mega Thunder then can't afford or are unable to convert onto further kills to actually win the cap.
Again, it's like what I was saying before. They go in for the kill, and that's when it turns out it has claws. Apudo going down to Gunbit is exactly the example of that. It's like getting strangled by a heron.
A beardless heron. He's stronger with a beard.
The way of the crane. And here we go. Mega Thunder again looking to really close it out, and they are losing time to do so. But getting RQT and Gunbit is exactly what they need. Moffat is well able to top up his health. Huru goes in deep, but the corner trap is there. It's a good self-destruct, but he loses his life. Does take T2 down with him, but Mega Thunder had the DPS in position to keep this one going. Blank are still losing, well, not losing members, but losing time. They're waiting for this regroup. They may want to push a final fight.
I think they are. They look like they are because they got members up the high ground already. RQT's actually already in. They're going to force the overtime.
Wow. They got to be careful with it because they did lose RQT. They had to send one in advance before the full team was there. And unfortunately, it's going a little bit sour. Transcendence out for Graceful as Apudo finds Eat You Up. That's what they need. And here we go. They finally go in for the kill. And remember the claws this time. And they will get themselves a cap payload underway.
And the problem with claws is over time, they just kind of wear out. Not sharp enough that time for Blank. Ill-advised for them to really go back in there. I don't really see the win condition for Blank, especially RQT going down early. Now this is going to be the momentum push for Mega Thunder. Picking up Gumba, what else can they get here? Blank just got to sit back. They're going to have to regroup even longer now. A lot of free cart push from Mega, and they need it.
Yeah, it seems Mega Thunder are finally free from that contract. No more claws.
Oh, okay, I like that one. Not too bad. Blank Esports, though. This is going to be the regroup. Look for the play on
the problem. The contract's blank. It's all out of claws. Well, that's about as far as that pun's going to take me. Apudo going on full retreat, but they've made themselves some good space. This now is Blank's opportunity to take a fight. Let's see if Mega can keep the momentum.
Right, so Apudo's already lost his flight for that.
Oh,
okay, that's a good kill. I think this could be...
Well, yeah, Apudo's already won this fight is about what's happening.
I mean, I'll save my judgment because the last time I see Mega get this many kills, Blank somehow managed to trade anyways.
This time it does seem that they're looking to close it out again, and once again have remembered that Blank will fight to the last as they slam dunk Huwu off the back end, and yes, indeed, they will be able to keep their momentum. Now we come to the final point for Blank to hold.
That was great because if you saw from Apudo's point of view, when he goes for the left click, the auto attack, he actually punches his left fist forward and onto Huwu. It just looked like instead of using the big fist, he just punched Huwu out with the small fist.
See, the quick melee for Doomfist, he doesn't use his Doom Fist. He just uses his regular one.
Well, just do too much damage. The quick melee would be like 100 damage.
This is kind of the last stand right now for Blank on the second point, and this is actually where Machi were held up entirely. So let's see if Mega can get it over the line, because the defensive tools have been used by Blank. They don't really have much left now, and all the aggression has been absorbed by Mega Thunder. The self-destruct for White catches RQT. That's a good one for them as they take Huwu down as well. Mega actually succeed where Machi failed and get the cap over the line.
Really got to question that kind of play from Pudo. At least the rest of the Mega members are able to pick up the kill. So once again, after Mega cap, Blank maybe just stick around for a little bit too long. Blank maybe just too eager to keep that fight going. So we said that maybe Artie didn't make that mistake in Flash Falls and Blank punished them. But actually so far, Mega are starting to punish Blank where Machi have not. So the adaptations from Machi and actually... So rather from Mega, and actually for Mega Thunder, they've gotten further than Machi have on this map, so this is an improvement.
And now coming out with the Winston Zarya combo. Apudo actually just a Meteor Strike to save his life, but it's going to take out... Oh, with the sleep there, Trill actually stays alive just barely. That was intense. But
one way to wake up.
Yeah, that is a rude awakening indeed. But the payload's got a good amount of distance here. Self-destruct in to try and break the positioning, and it works as they expose T2 and take him out. Now Huss looking for a second. Not quite finding it. Mega Thunder do have to retreat though, and do so safely.
So this is a pretty big change up now from Mega Thunder. They're going through the full McCree into Zarya into Reinhardt kind of combo. I think Huss is going to have somewhat of a field day with at least T2 here. Just completely knock him out of the fight. Make sure T2's pretty useless. Moffat's going to have to land some good flashbangs. The bubbles from White is going to have to be amazing as well.
Ooh, Huss nearly going down there very early in that one. That was very dangerous for a moment. The payload is still kind of moving close. Huss, he can just kind of go in, but he has to respect the bubble that comes out after he gets past T1. Moffat, though, with the Deadeye and White picking up Huss is the opening they need. They're all out of gas now until Graceful gets the Nano Boost up, so they need to find a way to keep the momentum going. They're having a bit of a hard time of it. It's going to be Nano Boost onto White, who is looking to close out a few more as they lose T1 and Apudo as well. Nearly on grab, but it might not be enough because the respawns will all be there for Blank. They may just need a retreat, or maybe they're going to end up taking a wipe, and they don't have enough time, I think, for another attack.
That's really unfortunate because they just slayed Huru, so there wasn't going to be a defensive matrix to eat up that grab. That grab could have been the game-winning play from Mega Thunder. Now they're going to have to make a mad dash for this card. This is not the situation you want to be in. Moffat now onto the third hero. Apudo onto the Tracer as well. What is happening for this team?
Apudo had to go into the Tracer just to buy the time, which meant Moffat had to swap, and already they lose Apudo. This is suboptimal, just so they could get in a great Graviton, but no follow-up. The damage is already dead. Moffat gets one, but it might not be enough. He's getting a few more, desperately trying, but Eat You Up is on the payload with the Tactical Visor and Huru to close them all out. And Mega Thunder will not go any further than that. That being said, much further than what Matchy did, and really gave Blank a run for their money.
Yeah, absolutely giving Blank a run for their money, but if you want to actually win tonight, I think you got to cap that one out. This is definitely not the situation you want to be in.
Well, you know what they say, the hustle always wins.
The hustle always wins. It took me a moment. Thank you. Thank you. I was like,
it's going to be really awkward now
if he
loses.
Why would Huss always win? I mean, Huss has been winning, but he doesn't always win. Yeah, what actually happened there, I think I want to go back to it because for Mega Thunder, the crucial push was right before the final one where they had to make a dash for that cap. It was just a really unfortunate dash because everyone had to sort of change up their Moffat onto the Soldier, Apudo onto the Tracer. Everyone's just on the wrong sort of heroes here, or rather not on the heroes that they prefer to be on. That's not even the biggest issue. The biggest issue is just the lack of time there. White had the Graviton Surge from the last fight. Using the Graviton Surge where he did, I mean, he's just doing what he can there. The fight they needed to win was when they nano boosted White. He had a Graviton ready to go. They just slept Huru. That should have been a grab play. Players from Mega Thunder, if they were alive, could have taken advantage of that. Then you would have had a full cap out.
It was just a little unfortunate how it all worked out towards the end there. But once again, actually, they had like 10 seconds left after they wiped.
Yeah,
and
an
just
awful time to wipe.
barely forced an overtime. I mean, there's something to be said out of that. Again, I feel like there are actually a lot of teams who wouldn't have quite even made that. It was...
Oh, we know of one team that didn't.
Yeah, it was dicey at a lot of junctures there for Mega Thunder. They only just got the first point cap. But actually, after their Streets phase was fairly successful, and they, like I said, succeeded where Matchy failed. Then got a good amount of distance on point 3, so they've, at the very least, given Blank more of a challenge on their own attack to match up to than what Matchy.
So story again for Mega is not very good early game, great middle game, bad late game, and they can't finish the map out. So in the middle is where Mega start to really get their stride, really get the momentum going, really find something to use, but they can never finish the game.
Indeed, we are all Malcolm.
I got nothing. I got absolutely nothing for that.
Malcolm in the middle. It's all right.
Oh, right, of course. I don't watch enough TV.
That very topical reference.
I only watch that Thrones show, whatever that is.
I like the Throne game. I love that one.
Yeah.
The one with Danny Tanner and...
Oh, yeah, I like that.
Yeah. And Jon Snow. I love that guy, honestly. But Blank on the attack now. It's Mega Thunder on the defense, and actually did lose Huss, but they're willing to keep the fight going. They know they'll get the respawn soon. So Eat You Up is going to take this high ground. It's going to be up to Tito to dislodge him, and he will indeed do so, but he needs to not lose his life for it.
Here.
And White loses the mech too. That's disastrous for Mega Thunder. No tanks for the front line now. It means that there's DPS members of Blank can set up fairly safely. Trill a little low, but Huss and Eat You Up get topped off handily. They take the ground. They're going to get set up on the point. Do lose Eat You Up, but Mega Thunder are going to retreat here, and I don't know if they're going to be willing to reaggress.
I think they shouldn't because, look, Blank already made that mistake, and that really cost them most of the streaks. We talk about how Mega Thunder actually had a great streaks phase. That was due to the fact that they had a lot of momentum, but I think, you know what? They're going to go for this.
Moffat does have the Pulse Bomb and gets a good one, and Apudo with the Tactical Visor is looking to get some work done. Can't get anything through Gunba, and Eat You Up starts fighting back, picking up Elk. Huss as well. They have backed off the point to give them some space to work with, but now they're re-aggressing with a good numbers advantage, catching Graceful with that Meteor Strike. There is Huss, and the point cap goes through. Mega have just kind of given away their chance to defend early on the streets phase now.
They're giving away more members as well. I'm expecting a few more kills here, maybe. I mean, Titawa just spawned. Huss picked him up. Possibly. No, Huss actually helped Titawa get away because he punched him all the way back into the other
There
spawn.
You go, buddy.
Yeah, go back.
Give me a boost.
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta say again, ill-advised. Blank made that mistake. Mega Thunder, unfortunately, got to make that mistake again. Blank actually didn't punish Mega as hard as Mega punished Blank for the exact same situation. So, you know, maybe a bit of consolation there, maybe something silver lining. Titawa getting the return kill is actually really important.
Yeah, and Eat You Up was not quite able to cover Huss's retreat there. So they're going to have to try and trade back by picking up Elk. They need to get a lot more than that, but they're going to try. Trill's going deep for Muffet, and it actually pays off as his backliners pick up Titawa now, and that leaves White in full retreat as Eat You Up finds his counterpart. And actually, out of nowhere, Blank just kind of pull a fight.
I mean, that's literally the entire Machi series. Out of nowhere, Blank somehow pull a fight. And unfortunately, Mega haven't had that kind of show so far. Not against Blank. They've had moments where, you know, it's looked worse than the Machi Blank series, moments where it's looked better. Right now, a little bit undecided. I mean, Blank are definitely in control here, but by now, Blank would have already beaten Machi. I think Mega Thunder got a little bit more space to play with. They actually have the ultimate to do something.
Gunba just experiences tranquility on the daily, yo. And there he goes again with it to keep his team nice and safe throughout that fight as they start getting the picks through. Graceful barely gets his Transcendence up. He is just nowhere near as tranquil as Gunba. And he's saving a few members of the team. White getting back in the mech gives them a good bit of time to fight, but Titawa going down is rough for them. And in the chaos, the point cap goes through. Mega Thunder, despite still having the members and kind of going blow for blow for a moment there, forgot to actually play the objective itself, and in so losing it, ended up getting wiped.
That's going to be a big momentum now for Blank Esports moving through. Still holding onto the Tag Visor. That's going to be an interesting 1v1 between him and Apudo. Whoever gets a better Tag Visor here could actually secure the game for themselves. Or at least on the Blank side, they get the game. On the Mega side, they get some breathing space.
Apudo with that Tactical Visor could very much close this one out. They need to use it to dig in their heels and find a spot to hold. Picking up Eat You Up and looking to close out on Huss as well. Yeah, it's very low, and he does finally go down to the wraparound from Moffat as Apudo closes out on RQT, and that flags the retreat for Blank. So without actually using that Tactical Visor, they do find that point to kind of dig in their heels, the line in the sand, as it were.
That's a really good fight for Mega Thunder because, like you said, they don't have to use anything. They're a free fight. Well, you take anything that's free in this game, I guess. So for Mega Thunder, time is really important here. They just need time. Get Blank down to roughly a minute 30, get to about the minute point. That's when Blank are going to start to really get desperate. That's when Mega Thunder set themselves up to win.
That was a really good collapse on Trill's dive there, and he needs to pop the Primal Rage now pretty much. Indeed, he fails to do so, and that's after Gunba and RQT both commit their ultimates. Now they need to get some good leverage out of those to make it worthwhile. Eat You Up does find one with Attack Visor, but Apudo is still holding on to his and can still turn it back around. Here he goes indeed, but it gets blocked up mostly by Huwu. The Meteor Strike is coming through as well out of Huss to get some good pressure onto him as they find Apudo through that. And Blank, despite losing Trill at the top, keep getting the kills through. It is just the same thing over and over. Picking Titawa and now the rest to follow him down to the grave. White gonna lose the mech, gonna lose his life soon after. If he's not too careful, may actually just slip out for a moment, but he needs the mech more than anything else. Apudo on the Genji to stall, will not do so. 2 meters remaining, and Blank still have all the members. They're still getting all the kills. A slam dunk onto White in the pilot form. They're looking to just get the last few members off this payload and get it over the line to put themselves up 2-0 in the series.
Yep, 2-0. Mostly comfortable for Blank there. Not too much resistance, except again in that middle section. This is where Mega Thunder really showed themselves. This is when they showed their hand.
The problem is they skip leg day. They got great core strength. The middle section's good, but they skip leg day.
I don't know about the arms. I'm not about the legs, but the core is great.
Yeah.
Work your way out of there, and you'll.
They need to take the Popeye training regimen, where it's just arms, 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 arms.
I thought you were going to say spinach for a second there, but that
yeah, and
probably
spinach,
helps.
and spinach. Yeah, honestly, Mega Thunder, eat your spinach.
Whatever Blank are eating, eat some of that.
Yeah.
Actually, no, whatever Ardian eating, eat some of that.
I like to think that like spinach is like the European version of kimchi. like Koreans when they just need to like get that extra bit, like huge jar of kimchi comes out and they just like chug that down, start winning esports.
That stuff is not easy to make, eh? Like,
No, it is difficult. Spinach, on the other hand, is like the easiest thing ever. You just toss it into anything. And I like that you put in like a huge pile and it just becomes like 3 leaves when you're done with it. Spinach is incredible.
All right, well, Blank so far, 2-0 up into the series. Mega Thunder, look, good news, Assault's coming up.
Yeah, you can put some salt on the spinach, yeah.
Assault's coming up, and if you're gonna win somewhere, let it be
gonna
on
be Assault, yeah.
Because look, Fireball made a very late entry into the club yesterday.
Yeah, they want to renew their membership.
But you've renamed, you've got new members, your name is different. You need a new membership card because your old ID doesn't check out. That's not
like the bouncer's got the VIP list with like your previous name. He's like, sorry, you're not on here. Like, what? What are you talking about? It's me.
Let's take a look at
last
replay
week.
now. Let's take a look at how we did at the start of the game, and this is going to be, I guess, midway through Cap 8 push coming out from Mega Thunder. They really struggled. And they're still struggling at least at this moment in the game as well. So another reset. I believe they had to wait until the last few moments to actually get the cap across the line. And on top of that, Blank kind of, I would like to say, overcommitted to that defense coming back in.
And I would completely agree with you there. I mean, we know that Blank will do it as well because, I mean, they just will. They will fight to the last. If they've got a bit of a reset, even if it's like 5 versus 6, they're going to go for it. And I actually think what happened is Mega Thunder did read that. So when they had the point cap, they were actually ready for what Blank were going to do. So again, it's like, I know I kind of said it as a joke, but it's, it's remembering the clause. It's remembering that, look, you've got it already and set up. You've got the advantage. Now that you're going to go close it out, be ready. Be ready for what they're about to swing back at you because they've got a haymaker and they're just sort of waving a hand in front to hide it, right? And every single time they kept getting duped by that until finally they learned, and that was where they started having a lot of success. So also credit to Mega Thunder in that regard for reading how Blank are playing and actually a lot of the time reacting to it. I think that's what got them so much further than Machi here.
Let's take a look at the next replay now. This is going to be onto the third cap. This is when Machi, or rather not Machi, but Mega Thunder changed up a lot of their roster. So we see now, this is the sound barrier coming through. Moffat, I can't remember if he got anything off the
He did. He got one.
Well, there you go. And actually, Graceful's about to hit the nano hit, so the nano does go on to White, who you should see get very charged up with that Graviton Surge. And this should have been the Graviton Surge play that really secured it. And it's not even really White's fault here because everyone else dies anyway.
And the thing is, look, White actually really pulled his weight here. He had a lot of charge throughout that, had a lot of very well-timed and well-placed barriers. So what just ended up happening is, unfortunately, at the crucial moment where the Zarya could have totally spun the fight back in their favor, a split second before that, they lost a couple of members.
Yeah, T1 and Apuda, crucially.
And the unfortunate thing is they'd already committed the nano boost. Ideally, they would have wanted to not commit that. But luckily, they then didn't also just go ahead and commit the Graviton. That's the thing. Ideally, they would have had the nano boost still so that when the Grav did come out in the fight immediately after, they would have just had that extra bit of closeout damage given that the DPS did die.
The thing about the nano boost is they needed the nano boost to actually get the grab in the first place because that was what really pushed White over the line. I think White was sitting at, what was like 50-ish kind of percent charge. After the nano boost, he was on about 70, 80 energy. He got a lot of damage done. So what you're saying about White pulling his weight there at the end in terms of at least damage, absolutely true because he managed to close the gap between 50% to 100% on the charge very quickly in the space of one nano boost. Unfortunately, like you said, T1 Apuda going down just before the grab came out. Actually probably smarter that White held onto it. Let's go into the next replay now. This is going to swap around to the other side of things, and it's going to be an attack from Blank.
Yeah, and this is where they just kind of broke it wide open. They'd actually lost a couple of members in their initial push, but kept on the pressure so that they didn't lose positioning, and I think that's something they've been very good at so far today. And then, of course, when they had that extra member back in, it was really just about putting on the pressure because they hadn't given up any positioning. They didn't have to fully reset and fight again for that positioning. And I don't think Mega Thunder quite respected that. Mega Thunder do come in for a contest here. And unfortunately, Blank are just as ready for it as Mega Thunder were for their own. They do once again draw out the opening kill, but Blank are still just so willing to keep fighting through to the last. And because they have that superior positioning right now, it really starts to pay off. The fact that they're getting kills, despite this Transcendence being a factor, just goes to show how well they've split up Mega Thunder, such that Graceful could not catch his entire team.
Actually, I want to speak to the other side of that, which is during the Transcendence, you have this kind of lack of kills coming in from Mega Thunder. That was your opportunity to get the kills. Look, your team is, for all intents and purposes, invulnerable. This is now, if you start to get these trades in, that's when you're actually going to win the fight. So a lot of what Blank are doing to Mega is Blank are able to get the trades when they shouldn't. Lijiang was a good example that they're heavily behind, lose 2 members. Tito gets a double kill. Somehow Blank manages to come in there, get kills of their own, trade up, and not only just trade up, but they actually get an advantage. They get more kills than Mega got initially. The other way around, when Mega is their turn, like they're behind, but they have a shot, they have a chance to get the kills onto the board and maybe swing things around, unable to do so.
Yeah, absolutely. On the whole, though, I do still feel like Mega Thunder so far have performed a little bit better than Matchy have in most regards. Even though Lijiang Tower wasn't as close, I feel like a part of that is just Blank's general strength on control. And the control match they played against Matchy was their very, very first one in this tournament. So there's kind of a consideration that has to be given to that. That being said, Mega Thunder still haven't quite pushed it over the line. We do joke a little bit, but I do feel if anywhere is going to be the place it happens, it will be Assault. And we know how well Aputo can perform, especially on Hanamura. So I kind of expect them to take Blank to Hanamura.
Yeah, I think actually, to be honest, Horizon Lunar Colony wouldn't be a bad option for them either. I think it's going to be, it's definitely one of the more popular maps that has definitely sprung up, and I'm not too sure on Blank's amount of practice on that just yet. I think what you really want to take advantage of here is the fact that your roster has, even if it's not by a long shot, been together a little bit more longer than Blank so far. Maybe you take them to a little bit more of unfamiliar territory.
Potentially.
I don't know, but Assault, you're favored either way here, unfortunately for Blank, and fortunately for Mega. So you're going to pick something up. This is where you want to pick it up, and we are going to find out what that is very soon. Assault's the next map. Mega Thunder is going to pick it, and it is 2-0 for Blank so far. We'll see what happens after the break. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to OPC Season 2 as we're about to kick off map number 3 in the series. Second match of the day, of course, into week 2. It is Blank Esports versus Mega Thunder. So far, Blank once again up 2-0.
Yeah, let's call it comfortable, if nothing else. So
Let's call it consistent.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's an even better term. So the thing is, they are coming on to Assault, which is traditionally their weaker game mode. They lost Assault to Matchy, but it was a little bit different to what we've normally seen because they actually technically lost it on Golden Point. And that was also Temple of Anubis, and then of course the Golden Point was Lijiang Tower. So that's kind of twofold there. First of all, they did still have weakness on Assault itself. And then actually, on the Matchy side of things, they improved enough to beat Blank on a Lijiang Tower map where they had failed to do so previously. So that is certainly worth considering here. So really, if you're Mega Thunder, there are 2 ways you can win. One is you are even better on Assault than Matchy were. The other is you are equally as good or perhaps a little bit worse. You still take it to Golden Point tiebreaker. And again, you are as good as what Matchy did on that. You know, you brush up whatever was going wrong on Lijiang previously.
The issue with the Lijiang I have is, and by the way, it's not guaranteed to go to Lijiang as a Golden Point. It could go to any control. But the thing about Lijiang...
I should actually say control instead of Lijiang.
But the thing I want to bring about the Lijiang is actually the difference between what we saw between Matchy and Mega Thunder is on Lijiang, Matchy had a 99-99 series specifically on control.
That is the key difference.
That could have gone either way. Mega Thunder, on the other hand, didn't really see that coming up for them on Lijiang, but the map pick is going to be on Volskaya. I actually think this is one of Blank's better...
that was unexpected.
That was definitely...
That was startling. That was like a jump scare. That was an M. Night Shyamalan twist.
Diva isolation. I don't know,
it was...
video
Yeah.
but
lost
yeah,
in the frozen Siberian waste.
You're a lone Korean.
And just like, and in the distance, you just hear like this of Roadhog closing in. You hear the chain rattling from over the hill, and the sun's going down. The weather's getting colder, and you can't recall your mech just yet.
And the big problem with that is, you know, despite the Roadhog one-shot nerf, you only got 150 HP, so he's gonna one-shot you anyway.
Yeah, you're like you're one of the only ones.
You don't get to survive that. But Volskaya is one of Blank's better picks, I believe, because Hanamura might actually be their worst. I might have to check the stats again. Certainly, Hanamura is where they have shown their worst performance, specifically against AHQ, specifically against Flash Wolves. Volskaya, the reason this is a little bit better is because traditionally Gumba has been on the Sombra, and Gumba's played a pretty good Sombra. Now we'll see if Sombra still gets played by Gumba. If not by Gumba, it'll be by Huss, and that's going to change things up for the team.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see, and certainly not out of the question, but I think the thing that's key here is actually this is Mega Thunder's pick, so they've got that in mind. You know, they know what Blank's history on this and indeed all Assault maps is. Plus, they saw how they just played earlier tonight on Temple of Anubis, and they are still picking this. So, to me, that says they've got a plan. Whether that plan is enough to overcome Blank is a different story, given that they are 0-2 down. And did that car just disappear off the edge of the...
I hope we get to see that in time.
I don't think we will.
There are cars disappearing off the edge of Volskaya. I don't know where...
No, they're
see
gone.
that left side where the water is?
That's
cars
a
are
road.
driving off directly into the water, or they're just disappearing. I don't know.
Something has gone terribly wrong in Russia. You've got Korean teenagers getting hooked by mass murderers from Australia. You've got cars driving off into the abyss. And you've got dancing
If you're
robots
lucky.
terrorizing the city.
If you're lucky.
Russia needs to get its stuff together.
Yeah, President Volskaya has not really been the same after making that deal with Sombra in the cinematics, so...
Yeah, that's really all it is. Like, Sombra doesn't actually have any, like, evil plan. She just wants to troll the crap out of Russia.
Oh my God.
Make robots dance in your city.
Yeah, what is your request? And it's like, oh, all I want is to
She
see
just
robots
wants to see a
dance
bunch
in
of
the city.
dancing robots and cars disappearing into oblivion.
It's like, tell me about the weapons and the robots. Like, oh yes. Tell me about their dance moves.
Yeah, yeah. And can they do the Macarena with their guns? Out the gate first, though, is going to be Blank. Mega Thunder have opted to
Elk.
defend. Elk, yeah, they're going triple DPS here, single healer, and they are indeed running the Sombra. But this is a fast rollout from Blank.
Definitely, Blank don't waste any time, which is good to see. Mega are actually not really meeting them. Is a little bit concerning. I would have expected Mega to kind of take a fight there.
Yeah.
Mega now have to sort of wrap around and expect the fight upstairs instead. So Mega need to match the speed that Blank could display.
Speaking of wraparound, it's Eat You Up who goes for the wraparound as Blank kind of forced Mega Thunder out of this room with the big health pack. They were trying to catch someone on the retreat, but a good pick onto Husk by Moffat does kind of hurt Blank's ability to keep up any long-term pressure there, given that they can't use that health pack. But they've still got both healers, and they're actually still alive. They'll need to find a way to get Husk back into their team here, so they are going to have to wrap around and regroup.
Blank are kind of stuck here, and actually for Mega Thunder, they need to control the space now. Blank are caught behind enemy lines. This is where Mega Thunder can get aggressive, especially now that they have an EMP, and actually catch the remaining Blank members out while Husk is still respawning, while Husk is looking to rejoin their team. But Husk has respawned and expect Blank to regroup.
Yeah, really that one pick onto Husk meant that nothing actually happened for Blank, and they just lost a lot of time while Mega got some ultimates up. But a good pick onto T1, and actually because that single healer, they need to get a lot of use out of these health packs. The EMP is out, the Nano Boost lands onto their Diva, but hey, they're making it work as they get the picks that they need. Husk could still pull something crazy out of nowhere. We have seen stranger things as Moffat's Pulse Bomb goes wide, and actually he goes down. They do pick off Gunba though and RQT, so it's looking like Blank will have to take this one on the chin and
That looked like a really risky fight because Apudo nearly had his EMP forced out at a bad time. Luckily, or rather fortunately, well played by him because he had his translocator on a health pack, EMP'd, managed to get himself healed back to full. Good response from RQT, the sound barrier came out, and that was well timed and well placed, but Blank couldn't finish out the kills, and Mega Thunder now this time in control of the game.
They actually very legitimately are. Blank have actually yet to get any kind of real window in here, even as it feels like Mega Thunder were just kind of fighting to survive there. They did so successfully. Blank don't really look like they're dealing significant blows just yet.
They certainly don't have the progress to show for it, so half the time already gone.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's one blow.
That's progress. Yeah, that's one, just one. Let's see if they can land a second one, and Husk looking to do so with his mighty
The
fist.
stalking happening
Lands
there.
it, yeah, dun 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 dun. Catches graceful. That's a great pick for them, and suddenly it all goes according to plan, let's say, and that is exactly what I've been talking about so far. Blank getting the set up positionally such that when they get that one pick, it suddenly comes a closeout. Now, is this going to be an actual pick here for Graceful?
It does look like Graceful is going to stick onto this mate here as Elka has already moved back.
It's gonna
onto
be
the Lucian.
May.
And the problem I'm seeing already with this Mega lineup is where's the damage going to come from? Sombra doesn't do enough damage. Graceful and the May doesn't necessarily do enough damage. Moffat has to do all the work here to actually get the kills.
Yeah, this is really interesting. They also no healer at all aside from Apudo, so they're relying on the health packs and respawns only, and that could be a disastrous call. White gets picked off the top, so now they are exclusively relying on those respawns here as Moffat picked as well. They're getting the kills through. They do get one trade back on Eat You Up, but they need a lot more. See what pops the Primal Rage to keep himself alive, if nothing else, and it does by the time for respawns. Blank haven't quite got themselves that third, but they've got the numbers to keep it going. EMP out, great EMP actually, as Husk goes down off the back of it. And now they look to close out more with the Pulse Bomb on Shrill. Gonna have to commit all their resources for it, but they do deny Blank that opening third and force them to pull back.
So there it is. Moffat does pick up the kills in the end, but actually Apudo with the EMP started things off for Mega Thunder. And the good thing about Apudo on the Sombra here is, I guess, if you're not going to try and match Huss on the Doomfist, go for the Doomfist counter, and that's going to be the Sombra. You see how quickly Huss dies as soon as the EMP comes out. He gets hacked, he's done. So actually Blank Esports got to be able to play around the Sombra now. That is a bit of a weakness for them.
Yeah, you do actually make a really good point. Like, Doomfist struggles so much without that mobility that makes him so powerful. Indeed, the mobility the Bronze players seem to complain about, but there's going to be the Meteor Strike out of Huss, and he catches Moffat, like, right on the head. That was brutal. And punches a Gorilla afterwards, because he's not done. They're going to have to fight through a May ult, though, but they've certainly got the ability to do so. Gunba able to get the Transcendence before the EMP can connect, and Apudo, oh, nice catch by Eat You Up, knew where the health pack was. May ult's over, and now Blank are once again on the point. They need to close out these extra few kills, though, before they can get a third, but they finally do so. Straight into a second third, just about, if they can close out a few more, and indeed they do with Moffat going down. Now can the reinforce come through for Mega Thunder? T2 going down, makes it a bit rough as they catch Apudo again. That is honestly no EMP going to be coming up for a long while. It could well just be a cap. Graceful's going to need to stall a whole ton, and he's trying to build himself a corner to do so. Gets the freeze onto Huwu, but no dice, and indeed no ice cube, and with plenty of time on the clock, Blank secure point number 2.
I don't want to say misfired in terms of ultimates, but certainly didn't get the value of the ultimates there. The Blizzard coming out from Graceful didn't catch anybody to really get a significant kill advantage. And the EMP from Apudo this time around, you don't get the opening kill on Huss. In fact, you don't really get a kill into anybody. It was Gumba coming out with the beautiful Transcendence that was able to just completely nullify the effects of the EMP, making sure that no one's going to die there. And Blank just kind of keep rolling up through. All these ultimates just not really getting any usefulness from Mega Thunder. So the way they were winning before was off of some of these ultimates. This time around, Blank just kind of tied over that and just win.
I find it interesting that they picked May, by the way, as well, because if you've seen
I've got a question, man.
If you've seen the cinematic, like, she's got to be dead, right? Like, where does she go? She just steps out into Antarctica. Okay,
so what happens?
Wrong side of the globe.
No.
Here's the thing. She steps out into Antarctica.
I have the answer.
Knowing that it has been many more years than she thought it was. She has no idea what kind of bases are still in operation in Antarctica, yet she just steps out alone into the frozen wastes. Like, what's her plan? Where's she gonna go? Why doesn't she just try and contact Overwatch and get rescued? I don't understand.
So you see the cars disappearing off the side of the Volskaya.
It's a portal.
Yeah.
It's like a Total Recall where there's like a thing through the core of the Earth.
Yeah. So they go to Antarctica. May hops in a car, and it pops up.
And she was just getting cell service to call an Uber from Russia.
It's an Uber from Russia. It's like none in your area. Oh. Russia.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, what? It's rush hour? Oh, it's from Russia.
3,000 miles. I'll wait.
World's most expensive Uber.
Arriving in 2 years. Okay, sure. No.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, I don't know. In all seriousness, I need answers. I need answers, Blizzard. By the way, we do just have a pause in this game right now while we're waiting for May's Uber to arrive at Volskaya. And yeah, I need answers because based off what I've seen of the cinematic, after her plucky ingenuity, May has just like walked into a freezing death as far as I'm concerned.
Well, actually, the other alternative answer is May becomes the Lich King, and so, you know...
She takes an Uber to Northrend and becomes the Lich King.
She becomes the Lich King, and, you know, that's the end of that story, so... There it is.
That's like the weirdest crossover possible.
The Lich King has to be somebody, and, you know...
Yeah, there must always be a Lich King.
After... Is it Bolvar?
Bolvar for Dragon is currently
after
the
him,
Lich
it's
King.
May, so...
It's May. Yeah, it's gonna be May.
one of the lieutenants of the Lich King.
Is Justin Timberlake.
Who will be your successor?
But yeah, for those of you who play Ice Crown, like the final round of bosses for the latest expansion, Knights of the Frozen Throne, is going to be each of the members of NSYNC one by one.
Those are the lieutenants of the Lich King?
Yeah, it's NSYNC.
Oh my god.
This is officially the worst joke we've ever made. I just want
I don't
that
know,
to be
man.
known.
You started this. I'm just trying to roll.
Yeah, I accept full responsibility for this. But by the way, Paul's just coming out again, and it does look like we are just dealing with a couple of issues on one of the players of Mega.
So the issue was Graceful says, like, I don't know why, but I can only play Mei on this computer.
That's the problem. That's the issue. That's the Blizzard, please.
I couldn't change off Mei. What's happening?
And by the way, it is actually Trill's PC that seems to be having the issues right now. As you can see, just there's the team is working on that. Shouldn't be too long.
So Trill's issue is like, guys, it's season 2 and I'm still playing Winston. Can I play Genji again? This is an issue.
Yeah. Blizzard, something must be wrong. We capped point B on Assault. What's going on here?
They kept point B against Machi as well. And actually, you bring up an interesting point because I would actually be quite concerned for the Mega Thunder team if they don't win this map, right? Because look, Machi have already won this map. I don't want. I mean, that's the only comparison we can make because that's the only sample size we've got to work with. But I mean, you even want to look at past results. Look, Fireball have won Assault. This is meant to be the new fight. This is the new, better, improved Fireball. Yeah, I guess Blanca's new and better and improved and everything along with that as well. But the standard has been set, and it would be unfortunate for Mega to not pick up that map one.
It would certainly imply that they're maybe actually not returning to Season 2 in the same shape as Season 1. Or at the very least would imply that Blank have
I mean,
stepped
they physically are not.
or indeed would imply that Blank have stepped it up a notch. There's a really interesting comparison going on right now, I think, between Machi and Mega Thunder, just between these two series where they have each played Blank, and that the control map looked closer in the Machi Blank series, whereas the hybrid map, I feel, looked closer in the Mega Thunder Blank series.
Yeah, you're right.
At least in terms of Mega Thunder's attack and ability to break defenses, because Machi had similar momentum at a point, but Mega Thunder are the ones who leveraged it into what was nearly a full cap out, and the difference was Blank was still the better team in both situations and did find a point to hold, which they then passed on their own attack.
Right, so this could still be pretty good for Mega Thunder. You know, the potential for them to just blitz through A the same way that Machi did, and, you know, maybe get a really good momentum push, camp 2/3 out the same way that Machi did. Suddenly, Mega are in a winning position, but they got to get that done.
Going to be wrapping around side first. See how they pull this one off. They do successfully cover their movement path. Going to just take opposite high ground here. They are aware of the Sombra as well, so they don't want to let Gunba get that EMP if they can help it.
And if you play fast here, that'll certainly be the case. So good movements from Mega Thunder so far. Now, where do they go from here? The tanks do get some control on the ground. This is good. Now you're locking Blank up in that small room, and Apudo is in a good spot.
Yeah, Apudo's holding on to this high ground, but they need to make sure the tanks don't go down. Gunba as well has the EMP and didn't quite die. That's very crucial because that can be a real fight swinger here as he is able to top off his health as well from his own Hack's health pack. So they didn't quite convert the kills they needed. They are just trying to pressure Mega Thunder such that they must come out and fight.
Gumba's waiting a long time. I don't know about this.
That's big. The EMP committed, but with the DPS already dead, and that was a very well laid trap by Mega Thunder. They forced Blank to fight and got a couple of key picks off the top of it, closing it out pretty handily as well. They're taking their time to commit to the point fully as they close out the last few members, but they will indeed get that fast 0.1 cap we were talking about.
And we talk about Blank being the Predator here, but this reminds me of the Predator 1 wound movie where in fact Arnold Schwarzenegger lays the trap, much like Mega Thunder do, and this is when you catch out the Predator and Blank already pushed back to Cat B.
That was a spicy reference, all right.
Yeah, we got there.
I'm trying to think of a good...
Wow, look at that stick.
That's so nuts.
How you doing, Hus? How you doing?
Just totally read his positioning, and that forced out the sound barrier as well, and despite that, Mega Thunder has still got the pressure on. Elk, if he can stay alive here, and that's great pick down on Gunba there, but if Elk can stay alive, they should be completely safe here with the double healer. They do lose Graceful, unfortunately, but they've got so many members here. This should be a third here, unless something goes horribly wrong. Elk committing his sound barrier to give them some more legs in this fight, and Titawat's still got an ult to commit as well.
2/3, here we go.
Indeed should. Gunba buys some time so they can maybe regroup, but he loses his life for it. They're just trickling on at this point, and this is really rough. Blank, if they just lose members 1 by 1, while Mega have the full reinforcements in, could be in a very tight spot. So Huwu is going to commit the self-destruct to buy more space, to get a full respawn in, but it's not quite going to work. Huss, very low, goes in with a meteor strike, but he dies straight away. That's the second third cap through now for Mega Thunder. They're doing this in a spectacular fashion. RQT, yeah, has the Uber and has the Mei as well. Finally, the Uber arrived. and Apudo just keeping this one on lockdown. They may just get this final third through and through here as they're continuing to get the kills onto the members of Blank. The EMP through at last, but it's just not enough. Moffat's the only one who goes down off that, and Mega Thunder still had the members. They've still got the Transcendence to commit, and Blank is still trickling on. They lose Huwoo's mech. Chill goes down. Huwoo goes down. They've got no tanks left, and I don't even know who's on the point. Indeed, it is no one, and once again, 2 minutes ahead of Blank Esports. Mega Thunder will cap point B.
That is even better than I was expecting from this team. Mega Thunder, wow, that is the performance you are looking for against a Blank team on Assault. That is the Mega Thunder coming alive that I've been waiting for. And unfortunately for Blank, look, same story. We talk about consistency, 2-0 up, consistent in losing Assault as well. Blank is just a team that...
okay, it's in time back. It's not lost just yet, but you're completely right. 3 minutes to 5 minutes. The difference is clear. Mega Thunder did it twice in consecutive pushes with no big stall in their momentum. In that entire shebang, I think they had like, what, 3 deaths, 2 of which were on point B, which they then closed out anyway. Blank actually looked in disarray on that defense the whole way through.
I want to break down what I believed was the cause of that. So you actually see the moment on A at least, which is where Graceful got a pick up. I can't remember exactly onto who. He got a kill onto somebody. And then somebody else on Mega also converted another kill. So we saw the problem before with Mega is they get the kills, Blank get more kills. This time around, Blank got no kills. In fact, it did even worse than that. Gumba should have used the EMP way sooner, but he was low. He's on about 70 HP. He's waiting for the health pack, then decided, oh, I'm now going to hack the health pack as well. Oh, actually, I've just used the translocator. My invis is down. I got no engagement tools, no EMP. You needed the EMP. If he engaged with that, suddenly Blank could have gone in. They could have taken a fight because Gumba just mucked around for so long with it. He finally went out, but half your team is dead.
There was also that really just great read by Moffat to pick Huss with his pulse bomb that he had up. That's how you leverage, you know, that particular
Who's the hunter
now? In any case, yeah, indeed. But now Blank out the gate on their time bank offense, getting good pressure down already, and they are fighting into a Sombra with this triple DPS once again out of Mega Thunder, so let's see if they can just do slightly better against it now.
I want to see more speed out of Mega Thunder as well, because last time they got an opening kill onto Huss, I believe. They didn't do a lot with that, so if they get another kill here, I want to see them do more.
Ooh, Apudo nearly walked into a bit of a tight spot there, but did just kind of give Huss the slip, and they're looking to get that same opening pick again. Don't quite convert it this time, and actually they're taking a bit of pressure here onto White. They lose the mech. That's not the start they want as White gets booped off the edge. That is very rough for them. Graceful has to take a dive, and Apudo gets picked. And actually, Blank already all over this one. Mega Thunder not only playing slowly, but also not getting any picks either.
Well, that's the thing is, Blank didn't do that much. It just feels like Blank kind of waltzed their way through this cap. They didn't have to make some big fancy play. They just found a couple of picks here and there. Graceful got found by Trill, got no backup, couldn't get anything done there. Huss nearly died, but nearly died isn't good enough because he lived. And suddenly Blank kind of effortlessly didn't have to try too hard and just get themselves through.
Oh, Apudo, what a great hack onto Huss. And
he's just
going to die for that. It was just not even looking in that direction. That's a
biggest doofus counter.
It honestly is. He is so vulnerable without that mobility.
He can't even use his right fist. In fact, his right fist, because it's mechanical, just completely locks up. He has no use, just no function.
It just falls off his hand. Good pick onto Moffat, eat you up, getting the one clip onto him there, taking out his counterpart. They need to convert off that though as the hack comes out the EMP from Apudo. But they still have plenty of resources. Yeah, the Sound Barrier and Transcendence both, but they need to convert kills off it. Graceful is a good way to start, but they lose Gunba in the trade there, and RQT getting hard pressured even as they take out Elk. They may just get a third off this, but Mega should be able to balance out the respawns such that they are... Oh, that's a great bump, actually. They do lose RQT. But yeah, Mega should be able to get some respawns in and stall this one out, start repelling Blank. They need to get kills in order for that to happen, and they aren't quite getting the right members. Getting Huss is the way to go, though, as they close out on Trill as well. So Blank, they will get themselves a third. That is very crucial, but Mega, they did have the resources to push them off and successfully execute.
Well, Blank don't have the opportunity to play for Thursday now. They got to get this all done in one go. Getting that first hit, getting that first hit is really important to getting that done. Usually much more difficult to get all 3 in one push. Getting 2 in one push, that's achievable, but we are sort of seeing Graceful getting those picks now. He was getting the kills that he wasn't getting the first time we saw Mega defending. I'm still not convinced this is a good pick for Mega Thunder, but let's see them prove me wrong.
They want to try and close out Apudo before he gets that
got
EMP. It did get eaten indeed, and Moffat had to recall as well. So Blank have kind of absorbed one of the key tools. They still have to fight through the EMP, but T2 in trouble. There's the EMP out, but they don't really have a good position to follow up. It's just getting absorbed. They catch Gunbit though, and
That's
Hubu. Wow, they are able to execute. No one answered Apudo, even though he was so deep, and it is indeed it, as Trill just kind of didn't notice the Uzi behind him. I don't know. As Apudo keeping on the pressure here. It's like one-man army.
Some respawn is coming in for Blank, but this is now the opposite situation which we saw in King's Row. 10 seconds left to go was when Blank decided to lose. Well, not when they decided, but rather when it just kind of happened. So now they're just going to run.
EDUP has bought overtime and they can come in with it, but another EMP out from Apudo, plus the sound barriers. They already picked Gunbit and Husk, and it is already looking rough for them. And it looks like it is indeed going to be 42.5% the distance to beat for Mega Thunder as they fully wipe Blank. The gong sounds, the overtime ticks down, and they are looking well poised to take out Blank on assault if their own attack is as good as their first one.
Yeah, and Trill, he knew what his fate was because he just started emoting right at the end there as he realized he was the last member alive, just sort of dancing on the point, more like by there, in fact. Yeah, 42.5 was it that you said that's the target now for this Mega Thunder?
Barely over a third.
So the question I have is, yes, Mega Thunder had a great first attack, but that was off fantastic momentum brought off A. Huge mistakes made by Blank, specifically Gumber and the EMP, and not committing that early onto A that really gave Mega Thunder that space. Now consider Blank as a team that doesn't do that again. If Blank don't make those kind of mistakes, if Blank don't just give up a cap for free, don't allow this momentum push to come out from Mega Thunder, do they get everything done within that 5-minute mark?
Yeah.
That's something else to really consider because 42.5, that's not impossible to defend for a team like Blank, but certainly a challenge, a huge challenge.
Yeah, I suppose the question there, I mean, one half is, you know, can Blank pull it out on the defense where they failed last time? And I think the other half is potentially was that offense out of Mega Thunder lightning in a bottle? I want to say no because we saw them do similar things consistently as Fireball. Like there is like a famous play that was Apudo literally getting the same play twice in a row on a main phase and then on time bank to win the game for his team. As Soldier 76, they are great at these really high momentum point caps. Yeah, and let's potentially see him do it again. I would dare say it's not lightning in a bottle, but this will be the proof.
Plus already not managed to get the first kill, so I think for Mega Thunder here, aggression is quite key. Blank Esports already in your face here. There's definitely opportunities to take targets. I guess the good thing for Blank is they recognize what Mega's play was. Last time they just let Mega get on top of this high ground and
Husk!
Sort of take the ground, but Husk getting punished here very early is definitely the go button.
Yeah, and missed that high ground as well. Unfortunately, dropped down still in the sights of members of Mega Thunder. Hubu getting demeched as well, and actually goes down. Moffat, good follow-up. Apudo does have to retreat and does go down for this. Gunber with that EMP, and actually they are just barely able to start turning it back around here, Blank, but they are still lacking in Huss, who is only just about to rejoin the team as EUUp goes down. So T2 and Apudo can actually keep this one going. The respawn is closer for Mega Thunder, and that seems to be the plan here. Trill actually gets a couple, so T2
that's a reset. Okay, that's a reset.
They've opted to reset.
And this is now the old, well, not really old Blank, just like Blank from an hour ago, but the Blank that we just sort of saw on a map like Lijiang Tower where, yeah, cool, Mega Thunder got a lot of early picks, fantastic, but then Blank just get more. Blank come back stronger, and Blank at disadvantage here. They got less time to play with. Also, their run back time is way longer. Their spawn is just worse. Mega Thunder got everything going for them. They should be winning.
I would absolutely agree with that there. They're looking to get some big pulse bomb out here. They've got the ultimates to really make this one work, but they are again going to be fighting into an EMP. Pulse bomb does connect. They should be able to demech Huru. That is a very nice start for them, and good discipline by Moffat to close out if they can. They don't actually quite get him, but they do pick EU up. Let's see EMP out, but this time they react better. Gunbit is down. Now they're fighting through the sound barrier. Yeah, it is a big commit because they have to rely on Huss and Trill to get the kills. Huwu is trying to get back in the mech, is barely successful, but Huss has had to retreat. And in this, Mega Thunder should be taking more aggressive positioning, but they're kind of struggling. They lose Apudo in that, and that was their big closeout tool in that tactical visor gone. Huwu finally going to go down here after holding up for ages, and that will flag the victory for Mega Thunder on point A. We'll have just under 4 minutes total after the cap goes through to get that 42%.
3 minutes and 12 left to go, and look at 42.5. definitely doable here for Mega Thunder, but I think they spent a long time on that Cafe, and we talk about the factor with, you know, look, Blank made a big mistake the first time on defense. This time they didn't make a big mistake. That is a nice stick. So Moffat opened up this Cat B last time for them, and it looks like he's done it again.
Yeah, really big open up. And Huss has already gone into full retreat at that point, so now he's just kind of retreating into Moffat's fire. They are kind of playing into Gunba's ult charge here, so they need to be careful. Need to try and take him out of the picture before he comes back in. And of course, EUP has respawned, and that's going to be the ultimate out of Huwu to give them the space. Actually, double Diva ult. No one dies. Mega Thunder, though, are just a little bit slim on members, and EUP has the good positioning. They do take a team wipe here. They have plenty of time still.
Slim on members and slim on ultimates as well, and that's the big thing for Blank Esports. So last time Mega came in, they pushed up with a big advantage. Again, momentum push. That means they get the ultimates first. That means Blank Esports playing massively from behind. This time, not the case. Blank got a lot to play with. They got a lot of time to burn here. Mega Thunder, they got the opposite of that. They got no time to burn.
And that's the thing, it was actually a really great stick out of Moffat in terms of connecting and getting the kill, but in terms of the timing, it was actually a bit too early. The team wasn't able to take advantage of it, and now with this EMP out, the timing is absolutely right as the collapse comes in. Mega Thunder, some of them try and take a dive, but actually RQT just takes the kill credit with a right click, and that's another wipe for Mega Thunder.
And now I got to question why Aputo's on the Doomfist, because part of the reason you beat Blank last time was Aputo onto the Sombra, denying Huss while Huss was on the Doomfist. Now you're playing Doomfist into Sombra, Gumba's playing it as well. I'm not seeing the logic here from Mega Thunder's picks.
And you're completely right about that. I mean, Gunba isn't connecting all the right clicks that Aputo was himself, but he's getting the good EMP uptime. Pulse Bomb a little bit wide from Moffat this time, and needs to be careful as well. Does not have a health pack to retreat to. They're struggling to get there in. They force the Transcendence so they can get onto the point here, but they need to absorb some key ultimates, notably that Tactical Visor that finally comes out from EUP. That's a good response. Yeah, Aputo replies with it, and they do pick Graceful with that as well. So Mega, they're losing just a few too many members once again, aren't quite getting all the kills through that they need. Huwu D-Megs could kind of turn the tide, but no, they lose T1, who had that Primal Rage to save his life. Aputo may just go down here if he can't quite give them the slip, and indeed Huss is going to try and chase him down. Doesn't quite catch him, but the hold is there. That's what counts.
Oh, this is now the final opportunity for Mega Thunder, and what an opportunity it is. This is the first time now on this Cat B attack that they actually have an ultimate advantage. Blank Esports do not have a lot to play with here. Gumba's going to have to be the one to pull the weight if he can get his EMP up in time. I'm not expecting Huwu to get huge kills with self-destruct. Could still be wrong, but it's unlikely. Mega Thunder, though, they have ultimates available. They need to use them now.
Huss is going onto the Mei here as well, just to stall in case they need to, but a good early pick onto Graceful by Gunba. Aputo trying to get into the back line, but he's having a hard time of really converting much. They do get Shrill and Ichiwa, but Aputo is just getting pressured. Now needs to rejoin the fight proper, and they're trading even. They do pick Huss, but they need more than that. Uwu with the double with the self-destruct, and it doesn't matter that he died because they have taken the wind out of Mega Thunder's sails. The respawn advantage will start to overpower them as Chill comes in to pick off Elk. They chase out White, D-Mech him, drop the Korean teen to the grave, and that should be the closeout now for Blank Esports. It looked like Mega Thunder were going to renew their membership to the Beat Blank on Assault Club, but no such luck as the EMP seals the deal and sends them packing. They're going to have to pay double to renew that membership.
Yeah, you really wanted a second bottle of lightning there to really finish the map, I think, but great setup by Blank overall. It came off the back of that Cafe defense. Last time, they lost quite quickly due to mistakes on Cafe. This time, they held out for so long on Cafe and actually came off of Cafe with so many ultimates still, A, charging for the ones that didn't have it, and B, ones that they retained that, I mean, it's just a huge defense, positioning-wise. I'm not even just talking about where they're standing, but position in the game in terms of how far ahead they were economically. They've really sold it for Blank.
That was a rough one, actually. That's a really awkward play of the game because actually what happened is those members were all taking a dive there because a few too many had already died. But RQT comes in, like, gives a right click, gets all these kill credits, and it's play of the game. Like,
that's really impressive in some skill tiers in this game.
Yeah. It's like just
some people.
Just in
that
case
is about the most impressive.
you regretted your decision to commit suicide, he's there to make sure you go over the edge. That's really what that play of the game was. But in any case, Blank picking up the assault win there. It did go to Time Bank again, and they actually had less time than Mega Thunder did. I feel part of what happened there has to be attributed to Mega Thunder's failure to utilize the time they did have for the point B, because they still had just over 3 minutes, which is more than what Blank had in the entirety of their both A and B attack in time bank. And they had a lot of opportunities as well where they had a bit of an advantage in resources. There was some slight misfires in timing, like with Moffat's stick on Eat You Up, but on the whole, they just didn't play as cleanly as they had even on their own main attack.
All right, let's take a look at the replay now. It's about to get into whose attack is this? This is going to be, I
Blank.
believe, Blank's attack. You're absolutely right about that one.
And this is their initial cap on point B. And you mentioned this actually, the Blizzard really didn't pull enough weight out of,
Graceful.
sorry, out of Graceful. Yeah, for a second I was going to say White, but it was indeed Graceful on that. And also, with that, they were lacking a healer. They were relying on the extra respawn advantage, and then Apudo having good health pack control, but the positioning of retreating to those health packs is difficult enough on Volskaya in this particular area. And actually, I think they underestimated Blank's ability to keep these quite tanky and otherwise hard to kill members, like the Diva with, you know, the 2 lives, quote unquote, and of course the Mei with the Icicle. They were relying on those to outlast Blank, and I think that was just a misfire.
And I think, you know, there is some possibility for, I guess, outplaying Blank. You know, a good ice wall to really lock out Hus or lock out a crucial member like Huwu from getting the Matrix is potentially something big that for a team like Mega Thunder they can utilize, but they're just these very specific conditions you're going to meet. And the biggest problem still for me is, even if you meet those conditions, where's your damage? Because Moffat's doing 80% of it. And if Moffat dies, and look, Moffat was the target of a lot of those pushes, suddenly you're in a bad spot. Let's take a look at the next replay now. This is going to be on Cap A, and this should be the very quick cap through. So Gumbo, you already see 2 members went down, the 3rd member went down. Gumbo very delayed on that EMP. This Transcendence probably could have been held, but I mean, this is just, I guess, Mega Thunder getting the insurance policy and getting this first cap through, and they win it anyway, so it's hard to really fault them on that, but huge misfire from Blank.
Yeah, and I can't blame them for using that Transcendence because of exactly what we've been talking about for the entirety of the series, which is like, even when you get a couple of kills, it's when you go in to close out the fight that suddenly Blank seemed to strike back, and I think that that's what the Transcendence was all about. They probably could have recognized that, look, Trill was dead, as were the 2 key DPSs. You were probably safe. Like, unless something absolutely nuts came out of Gunba and Huwu, you were going to be fine. But I can't blame them. The thing I can absolutely blame is exactly what you said. Gunba committing the EMP when the 2 DPSs, most crucially, were dead. And we talk about this a lot. Look, EMPs are great if you land it on all the members of the team, but it means nothing if there's no follow-up. And your ideal candidates for follow-up are your highly mobile DPSs, like your Tracers, like your Doomfists.
Take a look at the next replay now, and this is going to be, if I'm not mistaken, Blank's attack in Time Bank. Correct on that one?
Yes, you are.
Yeah, I definitely am. So, I think this was a fairly straightforward attack. Like I sort of mentioned in the cast already, it didn't feel like Blank had to do too much here. They just managed to get a couple kills here and there. One of the kills was on Graceful from Trill. And it was just felt like a very uninteresting kill because he just kind of jumped on him and Graceful was like, well, can't do anything about that.
Guess I'll die.
No teammates to really help him from the Mega side. I'm not too sure what's going on with the positioning there.
And it did kind of feel like Mega Thunder, it was almost like they weren't quite ready for it. Like they didn't really put up much of a fight, is I think what happened. And I find that surprising. I mean, you're on the defense, you should be set up, right? And I just find it surprising that actually they had been able to set up successfully on defenses previously, both on point A and on point B, and had been able to set up on their own attacks. They knew what Blank were doing. It was the same offense that Blank did the first time around. I'm just kind of surprised that they weren't quite as ready as they could have been.
Let's take a look at the other way around now. This is going to be still into Time Bank, the huge Time Bank at that 5 minutes or so that Mega Thunder had, getting the first kill on Hus, and this is what you were talking about just then as well. They have the early picks, but I do believe huge turnaround play from Blank really put this one down.
And this time it's when the EMP does have follow-up, and we saw that out of Eat You Up. Suddenly, these quite mobile members, you know, Moffat doesn't have the recall with that EMP connected, and it's little things like that. And this is absolutely Blank putting up a fight, and there is actually a point here where eventually Mega Thunder just kind of decided to reset. Now, I found that interesting because actually Blank had already committed their resources. Mega Thunder did get a couple of key kills on DPS members. They had the closer respawns. and they still decided to reset when I feel like they could have actually taken the fight further. It would have been a bit risky because they were about even, and I can at least understand them respecting Blank's ability to close it out when the fight was about even. But I think there was a real opportunity where, just with a little bit more bravery and a little bit more decisiveness, they really could have just taken the fight there, bought themselves an extra minute. But oh well.
A fine line between bravery and stupidity, I guess. So I can definitely, I guess, appreciate their decision there.
And it's a hard call to make.
Huwoo's going to be the player of the game here. Certainly can't give it to IU up twice. And the other thing to consider is, look, Hus had a great game against Machi. Hus was shut down a lot more in this Mega Thunder match. So I guess, why not? Huwoo gets it this time. And he ate a lot of the pulse bombs from Moffat.
Real consistency.
A lot of pulse bombs from Moffat, just did absolutely nothing because of Huwoo. And on top of that, you got to attribute that huge double kill self-destruct from Huwoo right at the end as well. Like I even kind of mentioned, like I'm not expecting something huge from self-destruct because it's not a really...
It's a zoning tool.
It's not, I guess, a common thing to get huge numbers of kills. It shouldn't
Unless
be
you're
happening.
Lazy Titan.
It really shouldn't be happening, and it's quite a rare thing. Actually, K-Momo's been getting a lot of self-destruct kills lately.
Yeah.
He's been catching up to Lazy Titan, if not overtaking him even. But that's not something that should be happening. So the fact that Blank got there through, I guess, a double kill from the self-destructors, if you're on the Mega Thunder side, is a little bit unfortunate. Now we're going to head into the post-match interview now. It's going to be from Serenity. I'll be translating this one over.
先有几个问题想问他，就是第一个问题我想问说，像 Hus 其实算你们旧成员嘛？
So
那他
Hus is
再
an old
重新
member,
加入你们，你
but
觉
he's
得默
rejoined.
契上面有需要就是磨合的吗？
So how do you feel about the synergy?
选手之间跟队伍之间，毕竟我们在台湾打了三个月比赛了，所以
So we
磨合多少也是有。
we played
之
in
前
Taiwan
Hus 之所以
together 3
会加入
months
我们
without
队
Hus.
伍，是因为 A 场那个时候他会出国了，所以没办法比赛。
So actually, the last time Ata
我们替补。
left back to
然后
India,
现
so
在
Hus
A 场
played
回
in
来
his
之后
place.
Hus 离开，进入他自己的队伍叫做 Mastermind。
So Hus left to join
现在
Masterminds
那个
after Ata
我
came
因
back.
为 Kiki 跟 Ata 个人家里的因素没有办法来台湾。
So
所以
now that
就
Kiki and
把
Ata are unable to come back to Taiwan,
了解
Hus has
那我
rejoined the
想
team.
问一下，其实大家对于新加入的两个成员都蛮陌生的，要不要来介绍这一下，就是这两个新成员？
So would you like
比
to
如说他们有什么喜
introduce
好啊，或者是
the
平
new
常喜欢
team
吃什么
members
之
in a
类
little
的
bit more
是不是
detail,
单
some of the
身
things they
啊？
like
大家
to
应该
do,
非常好奇。
some of the things they
像
like in
刚才
hobbies
访
and
问
stuff.
呼的时候，就是他现在17岁，然后
So
也是
who
男
was
生
17?
他是参加纽西兰世界杯的一个
So
代
he
表。
was representing
然
the
后
New Zealand World
有
Cup
一个
team.
有趣的故事想说，就是纽西兰在世界排名是第31，
So
但是其实他
New Zealand
们
was
人口跟
31st,
选
that's
手
actually
高
wrong,
端的
but-
选手都不够，但是是靠呼舞还有
But
另外
actually,
一个选手，他们有看很多个
Huwoo
小号。
was
上
and
次
another
估计
player
有
really
10几
did
个
quite
小
well
号
there.
然后他每一个小号都是4600多分，所以
And
他
he had
可以说是他
a
一个人
couple-
把国家带 carry 到。可以
So
参加世界
he
杯
was
的
one of the
时候
few
哦做这
players
个事迹
with
了
really high
很厉
MMR
害
and
那
multiple
另外
counts that
对
really pushed
另
New
外一位
Zealand up
Hus
the
他
ranks.
那个年纪也稍大，就是不像普通电竞选手比较年轻一样。
So
所以
Hus
他
is still a
就
young
沉稳
player.
那也有一些就是在上个队伍，他也当就是领队的一个风范，所以
So he
他来
is-
我们队伍之后就会带领着一些。
He's definitely been in
就除了
more of a
主控之
leadership
外的话
role as well.
就是形式上在打比赛的时候会有一些扣的话，他可以。
So he makes pretty good calls in the game. That's very
了
useful.
解。那这边还有几个专业的问题，你也把它来
Got
问
some
你。
questions from
就是
Nibal as well.
现在我们也是蛮关心的是世界杯的东西。那想问一下，目前 A 塔跟 Kiki 的走向会是如何的？
So how do you feel about
目
Ata
前
and
的话
Kiki leaving in terms of
还
the
是
World
就
Cup?
是因为 A 查跟 Kiki 因为个人因素没有办法来到台湾参赛，
So
所
they
以我们
couldn't come to
澳洲
Taiwan
世
with
界杯
us
的阵
again.
容也还是以现在的阵容保持这样子。
So
就是
we're still
他们
figuring
毕竟没有办法
that
来
out
参
right
赛
now.
也很遗憾，但是我们还是以战队的方法，这个音乐方式，还是需要来参加台湾这次比赛。毕竟就是哪里有比赛可以参加的话，以战
So
队
if there's another chance for us to play with him, we'll look to play with him again.
但是没关系，就是说，因为我们现在那个 Who 是纽西兰的选手，
But actually, who is from New Zealand?
也不是因为这种考量才要谈变换，但是
So you can't really put him into the Australian
我们
team.
是以 OPC 第一季 A 才跟 Kiki 才打进世界杯的，所以我们目前的话还是保持这样子。
So I think we're going to keep our original
然
lineup
后
for the
再
World Cup.
是今天有看到选手出在名单里面的话，看到你本人在名单上面，而且是在坦克上的位置。那想问一下，你目前的话是以选手在队伍里面的身份，还是以教练为主？
我还是以教练为主，但
So
是
you're
现
actually
在比较
a sub player?
偏向于经理的职责。
What are you doing right now?
就是我们这一季
Serenity's
多了一
saying
个教练，可以来分担我的
I'm
工作
still
所以我
coaching
现
the
在
team
最
as
主要
well.
目标就是确保选手就是没有任何 其他就是除了游戏之外任何担忧。
So I'm also looking after some of the stuff that happens outside of the game.
然后我没有所有替补选手，我还是像上一届一样，还是。
But I'm still a sub for the team, so if something happens to a member, I can still come on.
其他我都可以做，所以就是。
And I can actually flex onto some other roles as well
我
in the
想问
case
是
of
逼不得
specific
已你还
members.
是会上场，对不对？
如果选手受伤或是状态不佳的话，
If someone is injured or playing quite badly, I will come in.
好，然后再来是想问一下，就目前世界赛的8强里面的话，你除了韩国之外，你比较不想遇到
So
哪一国的选手？
who would you not like to face in the top 8 of
其
World Cup?
实除了韩国之外，其他的
Outside of
就是韩国
Korea？
大家都看得出来，就是世界
So I
上
think
大概
Korea is right now the number 1.
其实其他的队伍的话也都没有那么担心。
I'm
但
not
是因为
too
现在
worried
他
about
们
anyone
现在
else.
那个抽签要重新做一次，所以
And
大家都
everyone
仔
has
细下载看
the
说
entire
是
top 8 has
谁会对
to
上
be
韩国
reshuffled
但是
anyway.
我个人的话会是想对上美国，或是对上
I'd like to face the
那个
USA
英国来为
or
他
the
报仇。
UK.
哦，谢谢。
And I like to get
好，那我们
revenge
下
for
一
Flash
场比
Wolves
赛
as
呢
well.
由闪电狼对上 HKA， 我们休息一下，马
There
上
it is,
回
the
来。
interview with Serenity. I like that bit at the end, you know, get the revenge for Flash Wolves by specifically going up against the USA and the UK, who, by the way, internationally, everyone considers Australia to be the weakest team among the top 8. So, look, I want Blank to actually get up there as well and beat some of these teams to prove everyone wrong. And certainly,
Yeah, I think,
getting revenge for Flash Wolves would be really important.
I think there's some wrong proving to be done, and of course, you yourself actually were a member of the New Zealand committee.
lie.
So, yeah, so you're actually there watching Flash Wolves fall. You got it up close and personal. So it's like, is it like a form of catharsis for you as well to see them avenged?
Yeah, look, the Flash Wolves are great guys. I had a chance to speak with them personally. I had a chance to speak with some of the, including Niba, one of the Taiwanese casters about it. And yeah, you really got a feel for the team. I have to correct Serenity as well. Serenity said New Zealand was 31st in seedings. New Zealand was 30th, so just a little bit of a, hey, it made a difference. But you know, the point that he was making there, which is essentially, look, Huwu and another member of the New Zealand team, well, it's actually a few other members, Canis and Will, had really high ratings on PSA. And Huwu was one of the key members who, with a lot of different accounts, and Jeff says it's okay, so it must be okay, really pushed New Zealand up the rankings. So, yeah, we got 30th.
Yeah, and to that end, look, a deserved player of the game, I think, there as well. I didn't quite get a chance to talk about it before, but look, we're going to see so much more of Huwu throughout Season 2 of OPC. And look, if this is his first showing here, this extremely young, talented player from New Zealand, first player from New Zealand to be represented in the OPC, there's a lot of weight on his shoulders in one regard, but he's already performing, he's already shining. I'm super excited to see what Huwu and indeed the entire Blank roster are able to do in Season 2.
And Season 2 will continue very shortly as well. We did sort of hint at Flash Wolves. So Flash Wolves coming straight out of the World Cup. Flash Wolves already picked up a win against AHQ last week. Now they go up against Hong Kong Attitude in Season 2 in Week 2. And that's all happening right after this break.